T&D Sports, an exclusive video broadcast.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Len Genova. I'm the president of the James C. Metzger, Suffolk County chapter of the National Football Foundation. I'd like to welcome all of you to lovely Kings Park High School on a great summer day for our first ever Long Island Quarterback Challenge. But before I introduce our first guest, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about the National Football Foundation. Our organization was founded in 1947 and is dedicated to promoting amateur football and to honoring those individuals who serve the game, whether they be players, coaches, administrators, or officials. And there are approximately 115 chapters throughout the country in over 47 states with 10,000 members, all of whom, like myself and our local board, are volunteers. And we do this because we believe in the positive role that sports, and in particular football, can play in the development of our youth. And we had our large Scholar Athlete Brunch back in April. It was a tremendous event attended by over 300 people, and we honored some of the best and brightest scholar athletes in Suffolk County. But today, we're out here to promote amateur football. We're out here to promote Suffolk County, Nassau County quarterbacks in particular. And we're fortunate to have with us this morning a very special guest. His dad was a legendary coach at Hofstra University, Joe Gardy, who took that program from the Division III level to the Division I level. He also was the defensive coordinator at the New York Jets and did an astounding job. Unfortunately, Coach passed away a few years ago, but his son Dave is here with us this morning, and we're very fortunate because Dave sat where these young men are this morning. He was a quarterback at Sayville, then went on to a post-grad year at Choate Rosemary Hall in Connecticut and played collegiately at Brown. But most impressively, after getting his law degree, he's been with the NFL for the last 20 years, currently is the Senior Executive Vice President of Football Operations. So Dave, welcome him. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Just wanted to, I know Dave had an opportunity to address some of our quarterbacks this morning. If you could just share with us and the viewing audience some of the things that you went over with the young men this morning and what you emphasized.
I just talked about passion for this game. I mean, I've been involved in, I was born into a family with a football coach, so I've been around it all my life, and just talked about things at that quarterback position that they need to focus on. I realize it's been a long time since I played high school football, but things like, building your character, being a great leader, preparation, and handling adversity. I said, one of the things I said was, when the 10 guys in your huddle look at you and you're kind of facing that adversity during a game, you got to look back and they have to have confidence in you that you're going to be able to do that. A lot of that is preparation. Things like you're doing today, you're competing out here and being prepared for those situations. So I think the group, they all were staring at me. I think a little bit of it had sunk in, hopefully, and excited about the opportunity to be here, though.
That's great. And now I know you had the chance to play collegiately and also shared a great story with them about an experience walking out Tom Brady at one of the Super Bowls. And I just thought it would be interesting to hear from you at that level, the qualities you see in those quarterbacks and how important it is to transfer some of those things at the high school level and how these young men are leaders, not just on the football fields, but in their communities as well.
Yeah, I think I go back to preparation and what our quarterbacks do in our league. They're at that level for a reason, right? They've shown grit and mental toughness. Obviously, they have the skill set. But even if you look at the quarterbacks in the NFL, there's probably a range of those skills. You see the guys at that upper echelon that have been doing it for a while, and then guys that are sort of journeymen that have been around. And a lot of that is, continue to focus on preparation, building out your character. I mean, you're the leader, right? Oftentimes the leader of the offense, but more so leader of the team. And guys are going to follow you. And you look at Tom Brady as an example. For me, walking him out of the locker room onto the field at Super Bowl was an absolute thrill. And to think about that was when they played the Giants a long time ago. And now he continues to play at a high level. Guys like that, there are not many of them that can do that for that long. But just that preparation, what goes into it, and believing in yourself. So these kids hopefully take this today, learn a lot from this experience. And I don't know where their journey is going to take them, but hopefully they're playing college football. I'll keep my fingers crossed for them. So.
And Dave, for me, obviously, whenever we talk, I could go on for hours. But just tell our viewing audience some of the great things that you're doing and some of the initiatives that you're currently working with in the NFL.
Well, we're about 4 or 5 days away from the Hall of Fame game. So for us, it's going out to Canton, Ohio, and honoring those people that have been, the legends, the people that have been amazing for our game, and honoring those people in the Hall of Fame. And as we look forward with this year, we have flag football potentially, it was in the World Games. Could that be an Olympic sport? Those are some of the initiatives we're pursuing. Obviously, a lot of the diversity and inclusion efforts at the NFL, at the head coach position, GM position, things like that. We've had a ton of events this past off season, kind of building out that pipeline. And for me, in football operations, it's you cross your fingers that it's going to be a good year from officiating. Everything goes well from a game operation standpoint, and we get through the season. And for me, when the confetti comes down at Super Bowl, and I can relax. That's what I thoroughly enjoy. And then the off season picks up, and we keep going and work on rule changes and a lot of other things. So I think after the 2021 season in the postseason, we had one of the best postseasons we've had in the NFL, arguably in history there. So let's build on that, and hopefully we have a great 2022 season.
And just lastly, Dave, I know I asked Dave to mention to the young men this morning, just not everyone has the ability to play at the NFL level, but certainly to use football as a vehicle to get a great education, have a wonderful experience playing, and then turn your passion into a career in sports. So I just thought maybe you can touch upon how, that journey for you, and, how difficult it was, and now how gratifying it is to be a part of the sport that you love in a different capacity.
I wanted a coach, and you mentioned my dad, Joe Gardy. He said that's not a good idea. You should probably go a different route. And when I decided to go to law school, for me it was always to work in football, right? So I'm very, very thankful that that path and journey brought me to where I am now. But again, I see people like today, like guys that you have here that are volunteering their time, and you can tell how passionate they are about the game. And I have a ton of people interview with me, come for informational interviews, and they say, I want to work in football. And I said, you got to continue to work hard in school. So if these are college students, law students, whatever they are, and then that path may take you in a right direction, left direction, whatever it is. But if you're truly passionate about the game, you'll find something down the road. And again, I've been very fortunate to be at the NFL for 20 years, and it's the greatest game. I know you know that. I've known you for a long time, so I'm glad we've been able to stay involved with this.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dave. And on that note, we're going to kick it upstairs. We're very fortunate to have Newsday High School sports editor Greg Sarah doing the commentary today. There's no better aficionado of high school sports, and in particular football on Long Island. So I'd like to kick it right upstairs to Greg. Thank you so much.
All right, Lenny, great job. Dave, thanks so much. What an outstanding morning. Beautiful day here in Kings Park, Long Island. I want to thank the Kings Park administration for allowing these guys to use the facility, a beautiful field here in Kings Park. And our first competitor in the accuracy portion of this event will be Tommy Azzara. Tommy Azzara of Smithtown East, a senior, had a phenomenal year last year, one of the top 12 quarterbacks selected for today's event here at the Long Island Quarterback Challenge. Now, I'm going to give you some statistical information, some biographical information. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each quarterback. Each quarterback was asked to bring two of their receivers to this event to aid us in going through all the different skill set. Now, we have Zara from Smithtown West. His receivers are Dominic Galati and Brennan Haley. They'll start first from the 20-yard line in the accuracy portion of the event. It's called the quarterback gauntlet drill. Each quarterback goes through this drill 2 times. Ready to rock and roll? I'm looking down on the field, looking at event coordinator and longtime LIU quarterback coach, our pass game coordinator, Coach Gill. Matt Sims is the judge, former NFL quarterback and University of Tennessee quarterback, a phenomenal guy. Spent 20 minutes just talking to Matt about different things while the kids were in classroom this morning learning about different things. And Matt Sims is just an amazing fountain of knowledge when you talk football. So here comes Azzara. He's getting ready. Coach Gill explaining the drill, telling the receivers where to be. And we're ready to go. Last year, Azzara threw for over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. Didn't run the ball much, more of a pocket passer, an all-division selection, captain of the Smithtown East football team. Does well in school, a 3.6 unweighted GPA. His extracurricular activities include varsity hockey. I hear he is a tremendous hockey player. Does a lot of volunteer work in the community, part of the Smithtown East Leadership Club. And he's interested in quite a few schools for football: Cortland, Springfield, Brockport, Western Connecticut, and Endicott. And here we go. Azara runs up to the first football, fires it deep into the corner, grabs a football on the outside of the 20, makes that throw to the other sideline. Now he'll take one down the middle, fire it down the middle, perfect spiral. Come back, get another football, go far sideline. On target, doing a nice job, and he'll throw his last throw across the field. And we have a touchdown. Nice job. 6 throws, 6 completions, and now we move on to our second competitor, Matt Carjulu of Manhasset, a senior. Had a fantastic last year of quarterbacking, 780 yards, passing, 1,090 yards on the ground. Man, he could run it. Totaled 18 touchdowns, 12 on the ground, 6 through the air. He was also a big-time defensive player, big hitter for a quarterback, 79 tackles, 22 tackles for a loss. Wow. 2 quarterback sacks. He also had 5 interceptions, a fantastic athlete. He was an all-county selection in Nassau, also captain of the Manhasset football team. Another guy real good in school, unweighted average of 3.73. Also does well in the community. Econ Club member, National Honor Society, Key Club volunteer, Shore to Shore Youth Lacrosse Camp. And here goes Carjulo. First pass is a little short, runs to the far sideline. He'll throw his next pass into the corner. It's complete, down the middle, nice throw. Come back out to the outside, throw long across the field, complete. Sprint across the field, make his final throw, and a real nice throw. Way to pick it up. And you got to understand, some of these guys, they're out here in front of a fairly nice crowd, all the other top quarterbacks on Long Island, the top receivers, and I was amiss. Ryan Tintle and Cole Purcell were the receivers for Matt Carchulu. Nice job by Matt. You got to understand, some of these guys are a little nervous coming out here, big stage, but this is where it's at with a quarterback. You have to be that guy. You have to be that leader. Our next competitor is Brady Clark of Bayport Blue Point High School. Clark on scholarship to play baseball at St. John's. He's got a powerful arm. Second throw, real nice into the corner. Beautiful pass. Now he goes down the middle. Excellent throws. Now he'll go far side, and then he'll come back to us here on the near side. Another long throw, but he has tremendous arm strength. And now Clark finishes his 5 throws, 5 for 5. Unweighted average of 98. Another all-county selection. Also made Newsday's All-Long Island team. Threw for 1,964 yards and 19 touchdowns. Did Brady Clark. He also ran for 575 yards and 12 touchdowns. Kid is just a fantastic athlete. National Honor Society selection. He will be playing baseball at St. John's. Our 5th competitor, we will go back to number 4. D'Angelo Gordon could not make it. Owen Johannesson from Northport, a big guy. He threw for 1,243 yards, 12 touchdowns, also ran for 230 yards. Might be the biggest hitter of all quarterbacks on Long Island. He also plays middle linebacker for Northport. Just a phenomenal athlete. And he also throws the ball real well, Owen Johansson. They're coming at us fast and furious as we jump to number 6, Peter Leota. The receivers for Johansson were Drew Miller and Emmett Redzule. Leota will use Ryan Freund and Nick LaRosa. He's setting up now. North Shore quarterback. Combined for over 1,000 yards last year, 11 touchdowns. Returned 2 punts for touchdowns. An all-county selection in Nassau. He has a weighted average of 93. He's a youth football coach in the North Shore area. And he is interested in playing football at Ithaca or Utica. Peter Leota. He's off to a hot start. Good throws. He'll go across the field. Tough throw for those righties. You got to turn your hips and let it loose. Last throw is a beauty into the corner of the end zone. Nice work by Peter Leota. Our next quarterback is Matt Metzger of Cary High School. Metzger threw for 628 yards and 11 touchdowns as a junior. He was an all-conference, academic all-conference selection. He has an unweighted average of 91. He also plays varsity lacrosse. He is involved in the volunteer community service with the Cary Dads Club, and he's interested in a few schools, Malloy, Pace, and Bridgeport. And here goes Metzger. His receivers are Robbie Zitarosa and Frankie Aragali. Metzger letting it fly. Nice catch in the corner of the end zone. Nice gun down the middle of the field. He goes wide side, and now his last throw into the corner, and he lets it rip. Nice job by Matt Metzger of Cary High School. Our next quarterback is Devin Page of Kellenberg. All these quarterbacks come in here with great numbers, doing very well in school. Devin Page, perfect example, weighted average of 4.0. Threw for over 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns as a junior. Also ran for 354 yards and 2 scores. An All-Catholic League selection, a captain of the Firebirds. And they are going to look to win that Catholic title behind Devin Page. Real strong arm as he rotates through the accuracy drill. He'll let one more fly to the home sideline. Nice work by Devin Page. Another National Honor Society member. Youth football coach for Valley Stream Green Hornets. You gotta love when guys get involved in the community. His receivers were Sean Cannon and Claude Albert McKaylee. Our next quarterback is Braden Stahl of Smithtown West, wearing number 9. His receivers are Jack Mallory and Nick Briffer. Nice throw. I like the way Stahl picked the football up, got a good grip on the ball, and made it fly. Down the middle, real strong arm strength. Goes across the field again. Big throw. What a catch. Wow. Comes back to the other corner. This is going to be a big one, too. All right. Nice job by Braden Stahl. Stahl getting it done. Maybe Smithtown West can do some damage in Suffolk County this year. Our next quarterback is Dante Torres of St. Anthony's, a senior. Now, Torres comes in with unbelievable numbers. 2,338 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 200 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. All Catholic League, Newsday All Long Island, weighted average of 94. This guy's a player. Number 10, Dante Torres of the St. Anthony's Friars, and he's ready to let it rip. Coach Gill gets him to start, and here we go. Effortless, just real good arm strength. Big, tall, 6'3" guy can really throw it down the middle of the field. So far, looking good, 3 for 3. Another beautiful spiral, and one more throw. Looking good, Dante Torres. His receivers making it look very easy. Ian Strong and Darius Morant. Our next quarterback, number 11, is Jeremy Weiss of Comac. Highly recommended by many coaches on Long Island. And you know, you look at Weiss and you say, well, we don't have any stats yet. Well, he played behind a couple of terrific quarterbacks at Comac. He was only a sophomore last year, but he is going to make a name for himself this year. Real strong arm. Comes out. Coach Gill got him going through the drill. A couple nice throw. Look at that down the middle of the field. He'll go far sideline. Now he's feeling it. He's got real good rhythm going. Moves really well. And the last throw, right on the money. Nice work, Jeremy Weiss. Woo! Weighted average, how about this? 100. Our next quarterback, Michael Wheat. He will now play at St. John the Baptist, recently transferred from Roslyn High School. He's only a junior, threw for 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns last year in Nassau County. We'll see how he does in the Catholic League. Also rushed for over 200 yards. Captain of the football team at Roslyn. His weighted average is 93. And he is one of the up-and-coming stars in high school football here on Long Island. Let's watch Michael Wheat, number 12. Coach Gill gives him a start. Matt Sims looking on, our judge. Wheat can move. Like the way he gets across the field. Now he'll throw down the middle. Good throws all the way around. And his final throw. Got a little bit of a rocket arm, a little short arm, and gets the ball out there in a hurry. Nice job by Michael Wheat. Our final competitor in the accuracy portion, the gauntlet drill, is Zion Woodhill Trippett, Holy Trinity quarterback. Now this is a guy that can run it and throw it. Big guy, throws for 915 yards, 18 touchdowns. And last year, Holy Trinity had an amazing football season. He also rushed for 173 yards and 4 scores. Youth football coach in North Babylon. Yeah, a lot of good football players came out of North Babylon. And here goes Woodhull Trippett. First throw is a beauty. Comes across the field. That makes his next throw. Real smooth motion. Fires one down the middle of the field. Tight spiral. Goes back to the corner. What a release. I'm sure Coach Sims likes that release. Quick. Right out of his hand. Nice job. Nice catches. The receivers, Nick Matos and Alex Mengi. Hey, got to bring it back to Jeremy Weiss, Comac quarterback, who was up number 10, but he was wearing number 11. His receivers were Sean Kasnov and Dean Diaz. Just wanted to mention those guys. And this thing is coming at you fast and furious. I don't want to leave any of the receivers out. Michael Wheat's receivers were Sean Kasnovin, and I'm sorry, it was DJ Lisbon and Arthur Green. Coach Gill is now explaining the next segment of the quarterback challenge, which will be anticipation.
We're starting at 10. To you. Okay, Coach Sims is looking for, again, for anticipation. The ball, as a receiver is running vertical, you're throwing the corner out. You got 2 corner routes. So we throw corner left. The receiver on the right, get ready, because then you're going to go right. Then quarterback's going to run up. Quarterback's going to run. Let's say maybe 40, 45-yard line, whatever it is, we'll figure it out. Receiver, he's going to run a full-speed route again. Then the right one, full-speed route again. So you have 2 each way going this way. Have room for an out route, whatever it is, with out route. So the receiver on the left is going to run 2 outs, 2 corners, 4 routes. That's the most full-speed routes the receiver has. Understand? Okay, so now you can pick your 2 best footballs. If you want your 1 best football is fine, but your 2 best footballs, and put everything else in a bag. Let's start on the 10-yard line. Okay, go.
Coach John Gill breaking it down for the anticipation segment. This will require quarterbacks to throw deep routes, corner routes, out routes, and Coach Sims will determine the ability of each quarterback and his accuracy in releasing the ball before the wide receivers break 2 to the left, 2 to the right. This should be a fun drill, a real challenge for all our quarterbacks. Throwing the football through windows and hitting a moving target on the run, they'll get 4 throws each. So this should be fun. Joining us shortly in the booth will be the St. Anthony's football coach and director of athletics, Joe Minucci. And once we get him set up, he'll join us and watch the anticipation portion of this Long Island Quarterback Challenge by the National Football Foundation. So the first round, accuracy, we had a couple quarterbacks who scored really highly, and we'll save all that until the end. But we had some guys that were perfect 5 on 5 on all throws. with velocity, with accuracy. We had some great catches in the end zone by some of our receivers. I know they're all having a great time down there. You can see them all interacting. And these are the best of the best in Long Island High School football. Top 12 quarterbacks. And we probably have 24 receivers here. We might have had one guy that couldn't make it. Now Coach Gill sets up the drill. Our first competitor will be Tommy Azara. Smithtown East High School senior. And here we go. Gill tosses him the ball, throws an out route. Now he'll come to the other side of the field, throw another out. A little strong. Now they'll go downfield. Almost like they're in the hurry-up offense. Give the receivers a time to recover, come back to the line of scrimmage. Zara makes his third throw, now his fourth throw. A little early. And Joe Minucci, nice to have you in the booth. How's things?
Everything is well. Thanks, Mr. Sarah. Appreciate you having me on here and enjoying this beautiful Sunday morning.
So Lenny Genova has put together a phenomenal event here. You got the top quarterbacks on the island, joined by maybe the best quarterback on the island, and Dante Torres, who quarterbacks St. Anthony's. Tell us a little bit about Dante and what he means to your chances of winning a Catholic League championship this year.
Sure. We appreciate the compliment. Dante has definitely worked really hard throughout his high school career to kind of get to this point in his senior year where he's looking to have a fantastic year. He's our leader out there. He's surrounded by a lot of talented kids that have a lot of opportunities to play college football, including himself. And he's going to take us as far as we can go this year. Our expectations are high. And if he has a good season and all our guys do what we think they can do, I think we're going to be competing into late November this year.
Coach, we're watching Matt Carjulu of Manhasset, another senior who had almost 2,000 all-purpose yards last year. And it just shows how impressive and how good quarterbacks have to be for teams to be successful. You build your football team around the leader, which is the quarterback. How good of a leader has Dante Torres been?
Dante's been great for us. The kids really love playing for him. He has fun while he's out there. He turns it on when it's ready to go, whether it's in practice or at game time. He's been great with us all off season, making sure that we do what we need to do and get ourselves ready to go. So I'm just happy for him. He's growing up in the past few years. They've gone through a lot, these kids, obviously the past 2.5, and he'll be ready to go.
So you sit here and you watch. Who's with you today? Is this your son?
This is my little guy, Zach.
Hey, Zach.
Getting ready to go into kindergarten.
I love it. He's here watching the quarterback challenge. And, Joe, I want to ask you, you look at it's a beautiful day today. I'm sure you wish you were practicing, even though it's the middle of the summer. It's beautiful out.
Absolutely.
It's an opportunity for these guys to showcase their skills and to show everybody how good they are. And how nerve-wracking can it be, and how much of a challenge can it be for them?
I think being a quarterback and they're kind of growing up in today's offense where all eyes are on them and make sure that their offense is run efficiently right now. So I think that prepares them for events like this. And these, like you said earlier in this interview, Greg, that these are some of the top quarterbacks on Long Island. So they've been put in pressure situations like this. And I think all that stuff prepares them for them to compete here and have fun with it. And hopefully that's what they're doing. Hopefully they're having fun and they don't really feel the pressure of what's going on.
Brady Clark of Bayport Blue Point throwing the deep ball on target for 2 and a little long on the next 2. Now he's on target short. 92 miles an hour on the mound as a pitcher heading to St. John's.
Wow.
And he can zip it as a quarterback. And the big guy having a lot of fun now at the 45-yard line. Coach Gill getting ready to toss him a football. He'll make his final throws. And they have these guys throwing on the break. Coach, how important is it for guys to throw on the break?
If we can get timing right between receiver and quarterback, it makes it virtually impossible for a cornerback safety to defend some of those out routes. If you can get that timing done in high school, it's really difficult.
So, Coach, how exciting of a season is it going to be for St. Anthony's with such a great quarterback, Dante Torres, leading the way, as we see Owen Johannesson of Northport step up and throw the deep ball. Beautiful pass deep down the field. This guy's got a big arm. Look at his throw. And it's effortless. It comes out of his hand nice. But what's exciting about the St. Anthony's season this year? Who are you guys playing in the non-league?
So right now we're scheduled to go up to play St. Joe's, perhaps St. Joe's Regional, up at Rutgers on September 17th. We previously had scheduled Archbishop Wood from Pennsylvania, but unfortunately lost the game. So we'll have a game scrimmage with Erasmus Hall on Labor Day weekend. So that would be our non-league stuff, and then we jump right into our league schedule. Actually, the week before the St. Joe's Regional game, we're going to host Chaminade on Friday night on September 9th. So it should be an exciting start to the season, a lot of competition. To start the regular season with a rivalry game like that is going to be a lot of fun.
So I'm watching some of the quarterbacks here early in the anticipation part of the challenge, and they're trying to throw on the break, but some of them are just firing well over the receivers' heads. Is that nervousness?
I would think so. Probably these guys have been working with these, their receivers, for a couple of years, I would say now, right? So definitely a little bit of nerves. Sometimes when you get nervous, you put too much air under the ball, too much speed on the ball, more velocity, and that's why you can see it sailing over their heads. And
that's developed with receivers and the chemistry with the quarterbacks and reps, practice.
Absolutely. A lot of these guys are doing stuff together all summer, sharing trainers, and they're out there, off season. So, it gives them an opportunity to develop that chemistry with one another.
Peter Leota of North Shore steps in, throws two beautiful passes to open up this segment of the quarterback challenge. So, Coach, how's the defense look this year at St. Anthony's?
We should be good. We have a number of DBs returning. We'll have a couple of new guys playing up front at the D-line and linebacker spot. A lot of new starters that we're anticipating are going to step up and do a great job for us. So we're definitely going to score a lot of points on offense, and if we can get our defense squared away, we're going to be a talented squad.
As we watch Leota work his way through the drills. He's working hard out there is Coach Gill.
You're not kidding.
He's running up and down.
His step count is definitely up already.
I should have given him my Fitbit. He could have ran up and down the field with it. I could have gone home and tell my wife I had 20,000 steps and I sat in the booth all day.
That's always a good way to lie and get your exercise in.
As Leota finishes up.
I'm sure Coach is having fun out there.
He's got so much intensity. He's filled with just vigor. I love the way he teaches in the classroom and was working with the quarterbacks. Early on, we had them come in, and he was talking to them about preparation and thinking and always leading and being that guy. And his message is just loud and clear and he's intense. When he talks to you, he makes you feel like he cares and he wants you to be the best you can be.
That's great. It's a great attribute to have in a coach, position coach, head coach.
Matt Metzger with the long ball from Cary as they jog it up the field. Good-looking quarterback from Cary. Another nice throw. You got to believe all these guys are rooting for each other, right? They're all out there hoping everybody has a good time and everybody does well.
Yeah, absolutely. Quarterbacks is a special fraternity, I would think. And I'm sure these guys want each other to do well, have fun, most of all. Congratulate each other when all's said and done.
Tell you what, some of these guys, and you can't see velocity, but you can tell when a guy gets a ball on a guy in a hurry. A lot of these receivers are making really nice catches. They got their hands out, real good feel for the football. You're not seeing some of the typical high school receivers who catch the ball with their body.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the quarterbacks were smart and who they brought out here with them. And these guys are ready to go out and get the ball and help them look good.
There's nothing like a quarterback in high school that has an absolute cannon but has no feel, and everything comes at a guy at 100 miles an hour.
I'm sure the receivers feel the same way. Put a little touch on the ball, QB.
Especially on a cold day or a wet day, and you're like, you got to give me a little touch on that. Beautiful pass.
Yeah.
Devin Page of Kellenberg. Have you guys played Kellenberg the last couple of years or no?
We have not. We actually have a scrimmage scheduled with them at the end of August this year. But we've done a lot of 7-on-7 stuff with them in these past couple of years, but we haven't played them in a real game now.
I've heard nothing but great things about Devin Page. I mean, he's just smooth and tremendous touch. Good concentration on that catch.
Yeah. Devin Page's recruiting has picked up these last couple months. He's got a ton of IVE, Patriot League offers. Be interesting to see where he winds up.
Real good throws all the way down the field. They could run that hurry-up offense. Joe, was there a coaching change in Kellenberg?
Yes, longtime head coach, Coach Hannafin, retired last year, and you have Eric Micey taking over. He's been an assistant in the program for quite a few years. He's been a varsity head coach, wrestling head coach, and this will be his first year as a varsity football head coach.
Yeah, he'll be fantastic. He's done a good job with the wrestling program over there. But I want to talk about Kevin Hannafin a little bit. He did a phenomenal job. They did well the last couple of years. Yeah,
absolutely. Coach Hannafin has been a staple in the Catholic High School Football League for quite a while. Put his time in. He's done a great job with the program. They've won a bunch. And, to his credit, they're going to be up in the AAA competing this year. And, expect him to win a couple, quite a few games, especially with Devin Page out there, taking snaps and getting the balls out.
Braden Stahl of Smithtown West, only a junior, threw for almost 1,200 yards last year, 16 touchdowns. He's got a big arm, Coach.
Yeah, he's looking good throwing these deep corners. These guys are hustling underneath the ball. Great job. Great touch.
Yeah, good-looking receivers. I like the way he throws. We're going to have him for 2 more years in coverage. Well, that'll be nice. I like looking forward to those guys that are up-and-comers.
Sure, no question. Keep Long Island football going.
As we see Braden Stahl work the field. I got to like the energy of Coach John Gill. He's still moving fast out there.
And we're the second drill in here, so he's still got a long day to go. That's a nice ball, driving that ball to the out.
And you want that to give it separation from the defender and give your guy a chance to make the catch and take off with it.
Absolutely.
All right, our next guy up is your guy, Dante Torres.
There he is. Lucky enough to have Rutgers commit Ian Strong out there catching his first ball.
Another big guy on the out.
And then Darius Moran here, who's running back, winds up in the slot for us a bit. He's got some FCS potential. He's expecting to have a good senior year here.
Are these guys burners, Coach? Can they move down the field?
Yeah, Ian's a DB. He'll play some receiver with us this year. He's about a 4'6", 40 guy. Darius is a track guy, football guy. He's going to be somewhere in that low 4.5 range, 40-wise.
You got some explosiveness. I had a little birdie tip me off. Did you have a big lineman come into school just recently that I hear is a big-time Division I prospect?
We do. Preston Carey is his name. He's incoming freshman. He's just actually at Penn State yesterday or 2 days ago, picked up a Penn State offer, and he was flying down to Texas A&M this weekend. He's going to meet with Jimbo Fisher. He's got a lot of offers out there. It's going to be fun to coach him and see what he can do these next 4 years.
Now, how do they identify a guy that young to get those kind of offers at this point in their career? How big is he?
So PJ is about 6'4.5", 6'5", 250 pounds. So, as you know, you can't teach size. So he's got that. He checks those boxes right now. And to his credit, his dad and him, they've been around getting in front of coaches at camps. And he's gone down there. He's done the work. He's impressed, and he's left with some of these offers from LSU, Georgia, Rutgers, Temple, Penn State, and we'll see what happens at Texas A&M this weekend.
That was almost your size when you played professional football.
I wish I could break that 6'4" mark. If I did, I don't know if I'd be here living on Long Island anymore. Could have been a fun NFL career.
As we move on to Jeremy Weiss of Comac, a junior. I was getting caught up in the recruit and almost missed Jeremy. Nice ball. But our producer, Tom Bruno, gave me a little nudge. Hey, we got a new guy out there. Thanks, Tommy. You know, this is good for Long Island football. You know, we didn't have the Boomer game this year, first time in who knows how long, 2 years now because of the pandemic.
Right.
And that was like the greatest thing ever for all of Long Island football, New York City football. Boomer did a phenomenal job with the Long Island Challenge. The Empire Challenge was special.
No question. It's definitely disappointing that the game is gone. Hopefully in the next year or two, someone steps up and we can get that game back.
Nice work by Jeremy Weiss from Comac. Looked good on that round. And we'll move to Michael Wheat of St. John the Baptist. He's also only a junior. And Joe, getting back to Boomer, people didn't realize how much money and how much time and effort that Boomer Esiason and his staff put into making that game a reality. You know, and they all looked at, we'll step up and do it, until they realized that Boomer raised thousands and thousands of dollars to put it together. And with all his contacts, with all the equipment that was given to the players and all the gear, you know, it was a lot tougher than people thought.
Oh, I'm sure. You know, just dealing with the ins and outs in high school athletics, you know, on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, we have a lot of support and resources, you know, to make some of that stuff happen. And just to be one organization that's running the event, obviously there's a lot of people that are out there helping. But the logistics of it, I'm sure, are difficult. And then just to make sure that you get coaches involved and kids involved, not easy to put the event on.
Some nice throws by Michael Wheaton. And that's what makes this so impressive, that Lenny Genova and his staff could pull off something like this with the help of Orland and Cohen and the National Football Foundation, with all their contacts and all their volunteers, making this a reality.
Yeah, the National Football Foundation has done a great job. It's excellent to see them out here getting this done today. They put on a nice awards breakfast a couple months ago. It's just good to see some of this stuff coming out of the COVID era here that we've had the past couple of years, and giving kids more opportunities.
Yeah, and I want to thank you. You helped us in the beginning of COVID with a couple of photo shoots over by you guys at St. Anthony's. It's been a challenge. I'm sure it's been tough for all the administrators and coaches in the schools.
Absolutely. It has been difficult, and I think we're all excited to think that this upcoming school year is going to be finally back to normal, and the kids could have a high school experience that they deserve, and that the administrators can take a deep breath and coaches can take a deep breath and just go and do what they signed up for.
Coach, the Catholic League is loaded with quarterback talent as Zayon Woodhull-Trippett comes in, and he's a senior over there for the Titans. They are expecting a lot from him this year.
Yeah, no question. I don't know much about Zion. I've heard from our kids that play some 7-on-7 with him, you know, that he's a great kid. He throws a good ball, and he's got some talented weapons over at Holy Trinity that I'm sure he's gonna target, and they're gonna have some fun. They're gonna have a good year.
Well, he's a smart kid. He's a 3.6 unweighted GPA. Throws a nice football. They got a lot of hopes on him to have a big year, and they're stepping up in competition this year. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. They'll be part of the upper echelon of the AA, competing with some of the AAA teams, Shalmut and Kellenberg on their schedule. And to Coach Roy's credit, you know, he's been building the program back up the past couple of years, and you know, we'll see if it all culminates this year with how they compete.
They have
actually
some
throwing
talent.
to two of my receivers out here, Nick Matos and Alex Mangy.
Tell them don't get used to that. You know, these putting that program back on the map, Kamal Roy is, and back to like the days when Anthony Bernetti was their running back and won the Thorpe Award.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Zion Woodhull-Trippett.
Coach has got a talented squad over there. He's got a Rutgers commit and one of the top recruits in the country in Josiah Brown.
Well, they're done with this segment, and they're going to jump into the touch segment, stationary target, and Coach Gill is going to talk to all of the competitors. Orland and Cohen, the title sponsor, Sports Medicine. They've done a great job here on Long Island supporting all the athletes, and they stepped up to support this event and make it happen. Without Orland and Cohen, this does not happen today. So thanks to Orland and Cohen and Ray Nelson for being there for all the high school athletes.
Absolutely. They do a great job taking care of our kids, so it's great to have them out here.
Go.
All right, Coach Gill just gave them their marching orders. Segment 3 will be the touch passing segment. They throw to a stationary target crossbar. It's a stationary target, 5 yards behind the crossbar. They all get 3 throws. As Coach Gill steps off the 3 yards, has a receiver stationed behind the goalpost, right under the crossbar. And the first competition will be stationary target. And we'll go back to Tommy Azara. He'll lead us off. The Smithtown East signal caller. And here we go.
Definitely some pressure being the first to go here.
There you go. Nice throw. He put it right over the crossbar, right in the receiver's hands. Nice touch. Number 2. Oh, nice catch by our receiver, jumping up and go and get that. You like that anyway. You don't want him throwing it too low. Beautiful work. He chose to throw the last 2 pretty hard.
Yeah.
You know, the first one was a lob. Next 2 were pretty hard.
Yeah, I guess after that first ball, he was able to kind of figure out what he could do with the ball. Made some adjustments for his second and third throw.
You know I want to go down there and do all these drills.
After the competition's over, we'll have an adult competition.
Well, yeah, we'll have the all the coaches and media personnel.
That's right.
Moving target behind the crossbar. Drill's the same as the first one, other than the receivers running back and forth 5 yards behind the crossbar. Azara did a real nice job with that.
It's definitely a tougher throw than it looks out here with the crossbar in the air.
So we'll have a couple guys you think that'll throw it into the soccer net deep, a little bit too much velocity?
Definitely on one of the first or second throws, I would think, until you kind of figure out what's going on.
All right, our next quarterback is Matt Cargiulo of Manhasset. You know, how hard is it, Coach, to get a guy to throw a touch when a guy that has a cannon, or a baseball pitcher that you're saying, hey, it doesn't need to get there that quick. You got to get it in the right spot.
It definitely takes a lot of reps and experience to make sure that they can get it done. You know, a lot of times quarterbacks will rely on, and really any athlete will rely on what they know they're good at, and just try and lean on speed. And it's tough for them to kind of scale back and learn something new and make sure that they can complete a pass and take some off the ball.
Cargiulo completes all 3 passes in the first portion. Looks like he's more comfortable throwing with the receiver moving rather than throwing to the stationary target.
Sure.
Throws with a little more confidence on when the guy is moving.
Able to anticipate where he's going. Put the ball on him.
Throw it to the spot. Nice work. Completed all 6. And now they'll bring out Brady Clark of Bayport Blue Point. Clark showing a big arm in the second segment. And now let's see what kind of touch the Phantoms quarterback is in this quarterback challenge.
Some impressive stats Brady Clark has from last year.
Yeah, he led Bayport to the final last year. Trains with Rob Haas, the old Sayville football coach, fantastic mentor. Rob Haas training a lot of the elite quarterbacks here on Long Island, as is James Brady from St. Anthony's, one of your guys, an alum.
Yep.
Two of the guys that I leaned on in the beginning when we were making the selection of the final 12 quarterbacks. And I rely on those guys because they know what they're looking at. They know who they're training. They know who the serious quarterbacks are and who aspires to go on to college and play at the next level. Clark has a lot of confidence. He threw every one of those passes over the crossbar with velocity. He wasn't lobbing it over to get it there. You know, like you and I might lob it over just to dunk it in.
I just want to make sure I don't hit the crossbar and I can give the receiver a chance to catch the ball.
You know we haven't had anybody hit the crossbar yet, so that's probably the kiss of death here for Owen Johansson.
It might be, or it might be
There we
jinxing my quarterback. So. Johansson's
moving him
another
back
one
a
with
little bit.
some impressive stats. Big body out there.
From what I remember, Johansson loved throwing the deep ball at Northport. He threw some balls 55, 60 yards in the air, and they had some great athletes at Northport to go get it. Well, there's your first score for a goal, for a soccer goal. He wants to let it rip. He doesn't want to throw these little short 15-yarders.
Owen's also got some impressive defensive stats there with 58 tackles.
Let me tell you, he's your kind of guy. He's a middle linebacker, first and foremost. Great athlete, but boy, can he bring the wood. He crushed people.
Nice. Real football player.
Big boy. And he's got a lot of confidence the last couple throws. He started zipping in there with confidence. Do you notice that in a competition like this, that there are times where guys are going to lay off the gas a little bit because they're afraid to be too aggressive?
Sure. I'm sure they want to make sure that anything that they do out there is looks good, and especially a situation like this with this throw, it's just something that no one's really doing at practice. So it's new for everyone. It definitely takes one or two throws to kind of figure out what kind of speed they can put on the ball, what kind of touch needs to be there.
Nice throws by Peter Leota of North Shore, looking good. Coach Gill directing traffic, having the receivers run that 5-yard route behind the goal post, which is really just over the crossbar. Those throws are real nice, too. Good velocity.
He's doing a good job. I'm sure Coach Gill is appreciating this drill where he could just stay static for a little while, not have to run up and down the field.
I do like that he wears a bucket hat because it's hot out.
It is.
Much nicer than the last week. You know, we're not in the 90s today, but it is an 85-degree day with a little breeze here in Kings Park for the Long Island Quarterback Challenge, brought to you by the National Football Foundation and sponsored by Orland and Cohen Sports Medicine. Our next guy up is Matt Metzger of Cary, from a family of great athletes and great quarterbacks. And he's got some zip on that football. I like that. Tight spiral, real quick release, real confident. You know, we didn't say much about receivers, but it's got to be tough catching a ball on the other side of a crossbar behind a goalpost too, right?
Yeah, no question.
And you got an advertisement, so the ball's coming in hot and it's blind.
Yeah, they might not be seeing the ball until late, so good job by the receivers.
Get your hands up and be ready. So tell me, how many times have you seen a receiver not ready come out of a break and get drilled in the face mask?
You always wonder if it's going to be that one time where the nose of the football sticks right in the face mask.
That's when you know the guys that take the air out of the footballs. All right, the next quarterback after Matt Metzger is going to be Devin Page of Kellenberg. Devin's pretty tall. Was he about 6'2"?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It definitely looks like he's up there, 6'2", 6'3".
Big guy. See him working his footwork. He's doing his little 3-step drop. Now Gill directing traffic. He wants people moving. Some quarterbacks need that. They need that movement in the feet, right, to feel comfortable when they throw the football. Some guys can throw flat-footed on short passes.
Sure.
What would you rather, guys' feet moving or staying still?
I would think feet moving, gets them in rhythm, throw the ball. I'm sure that's what they're working on most, and they're just not really taking many flat-footed throws.
Devin Page looking good, and Braden Stahl of Smithtown West steps in, one of our youngest competitors, a junior. He could make the difference this year at Smithtown West.
Braden's got some velocity on that ball there.
Yeah. I'm just impressed with the touch of all the quarterbacks making their throws. You can see as the event wears on, they get a little more confidence, throw the ball a little more easily out of their hand. When you're tight, it's no good being a quarterback when you're pressing. It's like being a pitcher in baseball.
Sure.
When you're tight, you can't throw strikes.
No question.
You do everything wrong. Stahl does a nice job. And
We'll see here. Hopefully I didn't jinx Dante, and he's going to be
nobody's
the
hit
first
the
to
crossbar yet, Coach. Dante Torres of St. Anthony steps in. Coach, he's 6'4", huh?
Close. Definitely close.
There we go. Well done.
Nice ball.
Now the moving target. Good movement.
Good job. 4 for 4 so far.
Oh, that one snuck right over the crossbar. Nice work.
Nice job by Dante.
Catholic League quarterbacks are showing well.
They are.
Greg Sarah joined by Joe Minucci, the director of athletics at St. Anthony's High School and the head football coach. We're having a good time here at Kings Park High School at the Long Island Quarterback Challenge.
Absolutely.
Jeremy Weiss of Comac steps in. I spoke to John Prahalis of Comac Police Athletic League Youth Football, and he told me Jeremy Weiss is a can't-miss quarterback this year, that he's one of the guys we'll be talking about at the end of the year. And that's kind of cool, too. It gives me a preview of the top quarterbacks on Long Island before we even get started, you know. Coach, you know how important the top 100 is to all the football players on Long Island.
No question.
Newsday's top 100. I mean, you tell me, how important is that?
Oh, yeah. The kids loving seeing their name in the newspaper and Newsday app. You know, it just kind of, you know, sets the guys up there feeling good about themselves for their upcoming football season.
Not an easy list to put together. You know as well as I do, no matter what 100 we come up with, we could have done 140, 130. There's a lot of good guys that don't make the list.
Yeah.
And it's hard to pick them out. But what I tell people is if you don't make the list initially, then what you do is you have a great year and become an athlete of the week or a gridiron great or an all Long Island player.
Sure. There's definitely a lot of talent on Long Island and spread all over the place. Anytime you got to make decisions and kind of narrow things down to see who's the best, it's never easy. Someone's going to get left
of
out.
St. John the Baptist. We have 4 quarterbacks here from the Catholic League. I just realized that.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
St. Anthony's,
League's pretty
Kellenberg,
good.
Trinity, SJB.
A little levity, Coach, a little levity. I get told all the time, hey, you don't give us enough coverage. And I'm like, yeah, we do.
In your shoes, Greg, I don't think everybody can be happy ever.
No. We threw that ball so hard, the one prior to that pass, that I don't know if it went under or over the crossbar. It was a missile. What an arm.
I don't know that much about Michael, but he's put together out there.
Oh,
Looks
yeah.
like a solid athlete.
One thing you notice about quarterbacks is no longer all the 6'5", skinny as a toothpick. They all work out. They're all in the weight room. They're all running. They're all in programs. Would you agree with that? They're big guys.
No question. No question. The game has changed so much that if quarterback's not taking care of his body, he's going to have a hard time making it through a season.
Zion Woodhull Trippett comes up. He's a senior at Holy Trinity. Another guy with a big arm. Wearing number 13. You might see a couple of shootouts in the Catholic League this year with these big arms.
It's going to be a lot of pressure on the defense coordinators in our league to make sure that we can shut down some of these guys. Not going to be easy.
It was like when you had the Kellenberg quarterback. What was that quarterback that was unbelievable 2-3 years ago? Sluka.
Oh, Matt Saluka, correct.
Man,
Yep.
he was good.
at Holy Cross. I believe he's a preseason Patriot, all-league Patriot guy.
Not surprised. He was electric, could run, could throw. He did it all well.
The Catholic High School Football League right now is a lot of quarterbacks playing at the high level right now.
As Woodhull Trippett finishes up, and that'll end the next segment, the third segment of the quarterback challenge. Touch, stationary target over a crossbar, and then moving target over a crossbar. We'll move into segment 4, which is arm strength. Coach Gill giving out instructions, explaining the drill to all the competitors and our wide receivers who are here to support the quarterbacks.
A lot of credit to these guys coming out here on a Sunday morning. Come out here and have some fun, support their QBs.
We'll try to get down to Coach Gill at some point later in the event and hear what he has to say. He's giving his instructions now, letting people know what to expect in the arm strength portion of the Long Island Quarterback Challenge. First will be the long ball toss. 2 shots. You get to throw it deep. I'm curious if they'll have guys running routes on this. I think they would. Well, unless it's just arm strength, throw the ball as far as you can and hit the line. And we're going to find out right now.
Yes,
and then the second, Joe, the second portion here is cover 2 hole shots from the far hash.
Jump shot, leave your knee shot? We've got specialists for that. Face down after that face off? We've got specialists for that. Half pipe, leave you full of pain? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle, so you can feel better, faster.
We're back at the Long Island Quarterback Challenge here in Kings Park. 4th segment of the challenge, arm strength. Let's see who can fire it down the field. And it does look like quarterbacks are just going to air it out. And I'm going to look to guess at a couple of different guys that I've watched throw all day today and see if I can tell you who I think is going to have the best arm strength heading into this event. I'm going to go with 2 guys right now. I'm going to take Owen Johansson, number 1. Dante Torres, number 2. Brady Clark, number 3. And that's just a guess. And here we go. Should be fun. I want to thank Joe Minucci, the Director of Athletics from St. Anthony's High School, and the head football coach for joining us here in the booth. As Tom Mazzaro lets it fly. That was about a 53-yard throw. We'll be joined in the booth in a little while by Steve Costello, the Smithtown East football coach.
Tell me who you want. These guys are all here. I don't know if you want anybody. Does it matter? Not in order? Just go like 2 minutes. Hey, Steve. Stand up. All right, little one.
Matt Cargiulo stepping in from Manhasset. He's going to let it fly. Coach Gill's showing him where to throw and where to set up so he doesn't go over the line. They're throwing from the far 40. About a 44-yard throw. Cargiulo will get one more throw, a little bit better. Almost to the 15. About 44, 45 yards. Brady Clark of Bayport Blue Point, senior. He'll step and let it fly. A lot of air under that. Land around the, let's see, 11-yard line. I need a spotter. Oh, that's a bomb. Nice throw. That'll be your longest throw, about 52 yards. Owen Johansson. Big arm from Northport. My number one pick for this event. I'm just having some fun here as Johansson lets it rip. Look at that. You think he's having fun? He threw it to the 1 yard line. Not bad. 59 yards. Put it in the end zone. There you go. Wow. 4 yards into the end zone. 64 yards. You see, I pay attention when I cover football games. I know guys with big arms. It's just that the Northport receivers can't run fast enough to go and catch those balls. Peter Leota of North Shore. Tough act to follow. Come on, Pete. Let it rip. Nice throw. Nice work. What was the last one? 50 yards? Matt Metzger of Cary steps up. And now he'll let it fly. Metzger's second throw, about the 13. 47 yards. Every second throw has been a little bit better than the first. Devin Page of Kellenberg speaking with Coach Gill. As we await the throw. Here we go. Devin Page had a big year last year. Threw for over 1,200 yards. Nice throw. 5 yard line, 55-yard toss. Number 2, big throw. 57 yards. Braden Stahl, Smithtown West. Only a junior. They're bringing the footballs back. Stahl threw that from really the 39. He didn't give himself a run up to the 40. Coach Gill just tell him, you can move it up, son. There you go. Same thing, 39 again. Beautiful throw. To about the 10. 50-yard throws. Tight spirals. Dante Torres, St. Anthony's, stepping in. Torres has got interest from a bunch of schools throughout his career. He's got offers from Fordham, Brown, New Hampshire, Rutgers. Here we go. See the big arm. Nice and easy, 55 yards. He's going to have to uncork one here to beat the throw by Johansson. Pretty good. 57 yards. Jeremy Weiss of Comac. You know, it's funny. Had some people ask me, how'd you come up with Jeremy Weiss? And I told Lenny Genova and the rest of the people on the committee, this is a secret weapon this year from Comac. He's going to be another Mike Prahalis. Mike Prahalis was an amazing quarterback at Comac back in 2000, led Comac to the Long Island Championship, where they lost in overtime, heartbreaking fashion, 20-19 against Freeport. And Prahalis was sacked on the last play. They went for a 2-point conversion. And Eddie Gordon came through the line for Freeport and sacked Prahalis before he could make the big 2-point conversion. Big throw from Jeremy Weiss to the 3-yard line. Outstanding. 57 yards and goal line. 60 yards. Big arm. Second strongest arm here in the first round of the arm strength competition. And our last guy is going to be Zion Woodhull Trippett. Trippett comes up, makes the throw. Wow, a lot of air under that. Beautiful pass. 57 yards. Big arm. Woof. You can definitely run under those balls. 59 yards right before the goal line. Big arm. Now we go to the second portion of arm strength. Cover 2 hole shots from the far hash. 2 from the right, 2 from the left. Our first guy up will be Tom Azzara. Coach Gill will explain how this skill will run.
This is the next hardest part of the receivers. All right? Shh. Psst, psst, psst. It'll help if they can hear the instructions. The next hardest part of the receivers, okay, is cover 2 hole shots. It's a 1-2-3 hit. Velocity. They have both yards in the air, but their velocity, okay, is much different. So we do cover 2. Now the key is this, guys, the receiver position. You got to learn to run these cover 2 verticals right. Do not run a streak route. So we're gonna have a corner. Okay, everybody turn around. For me. So out.
Coach Gill having trouble with a wireless mic. He's walking too far away. Where he was perfect on the far hash. So what he's explaining is where they're going to make their break and go down the sideline so the quarterbacks can hit them on the run and have good timing. That's exactly what's happening. Coach Gill breaking it down for all the receivers so they run the best route possible and make these quarterbacks look good. Quarterbacks are getting an understanding of where they're going to make the break. There'll be a marker out there and it's in a player, and they'll be able to do that. Shortly joining us in the booth will be Stephen Costello of Smithtown East High School football coach. His quarterback is here, Tommy Azzara, who will lead off this event. I'm sure he's excited to watch his guys go. And we're going to go to a break. We'll be right back. Long Island Quarterback Challenge.
Experience. Trusted. Proven. Excellence. Over 20 years of professional sports video production. The industry standard. T&D Sports Video Production. Whether it's a single game, a whole season, or a college recruitment video.
We're back here at the Long Island Quarterback Challenge. Tom Azzara leading us off. Second part of this segment of arm strength, throwing against the cover 2 hole shots from the far hash. Receivers will run downfield, make their break, and quarterback will hit them on the run. Long tosses. Coach Costello joining us in the booth. Is it fun watching your guy here in the competition?
Yeah, no, it's great to see Tommy playing.
We're battling a little bit of an injury situation. Almost had to pull out of today's event. What was going on with him?
He's got a little back tweak, and he texted me yesterday saying that he's good to go today. He might pull out some events, but he's definitely good.
Yeah, I was excited to get him out here in this event. I watched him quarterback a little bit last year, and great athlete. He's going to be a big addition to your team full time.
Yeah, no, Tommy coming off of last year, great season. Really looking forward to seeing him and his 2 receivers here today.
What's the best thing you've seen from him? That's a great throw. Maturity-wise, leadership qualities, what is it?
Well, Tommy was a captain last year, and he actually stepped up in the off season, the summer, and he's really doing a good job leading his teammates. I'm really looking forward.
What kind of an offense is Smithtown East going to employ this year?
We're a hybrid wing tee. We run the traditional wing tee, but we're out of the gun.
So he has an opportunity to spread the field for you while you also get your running game going.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that'll do it for Azara. You can see him holding on to the bottom of his back trying to get through this. I give him a lot of credit for that because you're on a big stage. You're around the top quarterbacks. He's trying to get through it, and it says a lot about his character and guts. You got to have guts to come out here and do this.
No, he absolutely does. And I said to him, this is a showcase, but right now we want to focus on our season. But he said, I want to give it a shot today.
A second competitor will be Matt Cardulu of Manhasset. As Coach Gill gets him started. Steve, talk a little bit about your league and where you see your team finishing, or how tough is the schedule? Is the league up or down?
Our league, I believe, is the toughest league in Suffolk County. We have tough league from top to bottom. It's a grind every single game. It's a smash mouth league that can throw it, but I think our league is up this year, and I think we're going to have a very competitive year. I like my group. They're working hard, and I think we're going to surprise some people.
I like it. It is a tough league in Suffolk Division 2. Did you see the diving catch out here on the field? I mean, I love the effort. You're diving on turf. It's 88 degrees, whatever, out there, and you're going full out. I love it.
Yeah, they're out here showcasing themselves.
So practice starts officially on August 22nd. Guys are going through captain's practices now and 7-on-7s. How are you guys doing in the 7-on-7s?
We're doing well. We actually did a 7-on-7 against Sachem North these last 2 weeks, and we've done pretty well. And then this week we're going to a 7-on-7 tournament at Melville, so it should be pretty good.
Cardula working the ball down the field. Some nice long throws. Another big boy at quarterback. You notice, I was talking to Joe Minucci earlier about the size of the quarterbacks. They're bigger, but I don't mean size-wise tall. I mean thickness, strength, muscle. You notice that too?
Yeah, they're standing on the sideline with these guys. There's some big people out there. Receivers and the quarterbacks are getting bigger.
It seems like the physicality of the game has just gone to a whole nother level. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that 100%.
As we get started, Brady Clark, and he throws a really nice long ball. Brady Clark of Bayport, Blue Point.
Kid's a good quarterback.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. He throws a beautiful ball. Just effortless and real good arm strength. Coach Gill getting his work in today. We were joking around about it earlier with Joe Minucci. His steps are going to be out of control.
Yeah.
But he's loving it. He's an intense, passionate coach.
He's a very good coach. Certainly knows the game.
So if you were looking at your league, outsider's point of view, top 3 teams right now, who would it be? Because it's been changing at the top quite a bit in Division 2.
Bellport, I definitely think is this team still to beat. Lindenhurst, and I would say either Hills East. Yeah, I'd probably say those 3.
Is West Islip still in the mix?
West Islip's always going to be. I know Coach was pretty happy with his team. He says next year would be a better team for him. He's young.
Newfield was very young last year too.
They're tough. They're a tough team, Newfield.
So quarterback at Bellport is not here today. Did not really play quarterback a lot last year. Was more of a slot back and did some other things for them, but he's a phenomenal athlete. Is Justin Miles. and he was one of the guys that was on our initial list. We had an initial list of 21 quarterbacks.
Okay.
And we cut it down to 13. One fellow couldn't make it today, so we have 12 here today. There's a lot of good quarterback talent on Long Island.
There's definitely a lot of quarterbacks.
Owen Johansson, who showed unbelievable arm strength in the long throws, is up from Northport. Is Northport in your league?
Yes. Northport was the other team between Hills East.
It's just crazy.
Every week.
Every week you don't know who can beat who.
Yeah.
If there was a surprise team in Suffolk Division 2, who would it be? You'd want it to be you guys.
I always want it to be us. I like I said, I think we have a very good team, and I think we are going to surprise people. So I'll put us up there.
Yeah, there's so much talent. I covered quite a few games, and the Bellport Hills East games were unbelievable.
That was a very good game.
And, you know, it's funny. A lot of people don't look at West Islip as that team. Meanwhile, they're one of the storied programs on Long Island, year in and year out. They're always there. Sometimes they, for some reason, don't get that respect. I don't know, maybe because they're not fancy, maybe because they don't have that one outstanding star player, but they play football.
Yeah, they do.
Steve Milletti's done a great job at West Islip, and every time I talk to him about it, he's like, yeah, we believe in our tradition, we believe in what we do in our program, and that's part of the winning tradition.
Yes.
It helps them.
Yeah, and that's the thing we're trying to start over in Smithtown. We're trying to rebrand ourselves, rebrand our culture, and the summer has done a really good job with that.
When I played quarterback in high school, Smithtown East was the team to beat.
Okay.
We were in the same league as Smithtown East. I played at Newfield, and Smithtown East, our year was the county champion in 1978.
Okay.
Johansson finishing up his long throws. Look at that throw.
Good throw.
He's a collegiate arm, for sure.
He's a good quarterback. He's definitely one of the players to watch in our league.
Did you play him last year? Did you play Northport last year?
We did not. We did not play Northport.
He was fun to watch. He got hurt in like the third game. Pat Campbell told me he was out. They kept him off defense pretty much the rest of the year. He had a knee injury.
Okay.
Because they didn't want people. He's so important at quarterback. But I think it limited his running towards the end of the year and made it difficult for him. But if you were asking me who were the top players on Long Island last year, despite the injury, Owen Johansson was one of them.
I agree.
Peter Leota steps in from North Shore. I like the way Lenny Genova had this whole thing mapped out by the minute.
He's organized.
Very. Does a phenomenal job for all the football players on Long Island. The National Football Foundation has just done great things for scholar athletes, and
yes,
you know, James Metzger has been very involved in the foundation and supporting them and helping them with everything they do. It's been a great marriage.
Yeah.
You know, I watch the quarterbacks warming up on the side before they go out and throw, which is smart. Because you don't want to be throwing the ball 40, 50 yards without being warmed up.
I think they're doing a good job monitoring how many throws they're doing today.
So after Peter Leota of North Shore finishes up, Matt Metzger of Cary is next. And we'll be joined in the booth by the football chairman of Nassau and Suffolk County, Matt McLeese, and Timmy Horan. Both gentlemen here today spending their Sunday at Kings Park High School at the Erlen and Cohen Sports Medicine National Football Foundation Long Island Quarterback Challenge. And Leota's finished up. And Steve, I want to thank you for joining us in the booth.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully I get to come out and see you guys play this year, and Tom Mazzara has a big game.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Greg.
You're welcome. as Leota walks off the field. Congratulates his receivers. Really happy with the way they performed. He did a good job throwing the football. First up in the booth in a minute, in a New York minute, which will be quicker than you think, will be Matt McLeese, the Nassau County football chairman. We'll let him get settled as Matt Metzger lets it rip down the field. Another guy with a big arm. As Metzger goes to the far hash. All right, I want to welcome Matt McLeese into the booth. And Matt, how you been?
Hey, Greg. Doing well, thank you. This is something really special. Kudos to Orland Cohn, Len Genova, and the people for putting this together. This is really outstanding.
Matt, you're a big football guy from your playing days to your coaching days. Now you're a director of athletics for all schools in the, what is the district? Sewanaka School District, which is 5 high schools, right?
That's correct. Yep. So we have five buildings in our district, and it's kind of neat for us because we have a couple of schools in Conference 2 with Elmont, New Hyde Park, and Sewanaka. And then in Conference 3, we have Cary, which Matt Metzger, as you see here on the screen, Matt is our quarterback at Cary. They'll be moving into Conference 3 for the first time in many, many years. And of course, we have our traditional school in Conference 3, which is Floral Park.
How hard is it to manage 5 different high schools playing in different conferences?
You know what, Greg? I'm very, very fortunate that each of the buildings have outstanding athletic administrators. At Cary, we have Anthony Brancato. New Hyde Park has Patrick McGuire. Floral Park has Larry Doranson. Elmont has Crew Patel. And Sewanaka has John Niven. And those guys are all outstanding leaders. And they do a tremendous job, and they make me look good. And that's not easy to do.
Matt, when you look at the quarterback challenge and you watch a guy like Devin Page from Kellenberg, who's up now, letting it rip down the field, you know, how much fun is it for you, for all the administrators, to just come out and enjoy an event where you can just sit back and watch and evaluate?
You know what, Greg? I think if you take a look around at the people that are here today, listen, it's the last weekend in July. It's beautiful out, and yet you turn around and you look at the number of coaches, athletic administrators that are here today. You could tell that we're starved for football and we're excited for high school football. So something like this, we're more than happy to trade away a summer afternoon to come and watch these kids compete.
One of the things that strikes me is I think the 7-on-7 competitions has really helped quarterbacks and receivers get on the same page and get that great chemistry that they'll need during school ball next year.
No question. And it's gotten bigger and bigger. Every program is participating in 7-on-7. And if you look at the talent that is coming off of the island at those skilled positions, it's just amazing. It's almost like it's turning into basketball on grass. These kids are so athletic.
I would think that there could be a league for 7-on-7, that at a schedule where guys play maybe 5 weeks to 5 games. Whether you were 5-0 or 0-5, you were still building the chemistry and getting that camaraderie with your receivers and with your backs. Would you agree with that?
Oh, no question. I think that there's definitely a want for that. There's definitely a need for that. And, you know, we saw, Greg, to your point, look at what transpired in the spring with the girls 7-on-7. It was phenomenal. So many programs participated in that. But as far as the boys are concerned, I think the issue would just be finding the right time of the year to make that happen.
Well, this is pretty exciting. So when this was being put together and they were picking up all the quarterbacks from the last few years, recommendations from some of the gurus on Long Island, like James Brady, Rob Haas, and speaking to different people. Rob Blount was a big help in helping me pick different people. And we came up with a great list. We had 21 guys originally. We had to cut it down to 13, and we have 12 here today. Unfortunately, D'Angelo Gordon couldn't be here. When you look at the players out here, don't you think it also brings people the opportunity to know who's who? Hey, I remember that guy. He was at the quarterback challenge.
No question. And especially with the job that Tom is doing with T&D, live streaming this so many people can have the opportunity to see this. And Greg, don't ever underestimate the bonds that are happening here between these kids that are here today. You could see them hanging out with other players from other schools, not even the kids from their own schools. The quarterbacks brought a couple of receivers with them, but they're hanging out with the other kids as well, and friendships and camaraderie. It's tremendous.
You know, it's a quiet thing. Matt Sims is down there, and he's evaluating every one of these players in every one of these drills. I mean, he is working his tail off. And you don't see him because he's like behind the scenes. He's out there, but he's not saying much. He's just watching and evaluating, and then they'll go and do all the scores. You know, having people like that, high stature people who are involved in events like this, makes an event like this so super impressive.
And it adds instant credibility. When you're talking about Matt Sims, I mean, you look at his career, his brother Chris, his father Phil, this guy knows what he's doing. He's the guru. He's the GOAT in terms of evaluating these quarterbacks. I don't envy him because he's got a real tough job today in trying to pick the number one kid here. I wouldn't want to be in his position, but certainly he's the guy that's qualified to be doing it.
We just watched Braden Stahl throw, and now we're up to Dante Torres, St. Anthony's, highly regarded by all Division I schools. Big-time passer, can run it. Just an all-around great quarterback talent. Look at that throw. Yeah, that's 35 yards right on the dime.
Yeah, he had an outstanding season last year, and I know Joe and the people over at St. Anthony's are very, very excited about this season with Dante and seeing if we can get another championship back to St. Anthony's.
You watch the throw he just made. He hit him on the run, 40 yards down the field. I mean, that's just beautiful to watch. Look at these throws.
He's
nice
throwing
catch.
dimes.
And I know for you, being a St. Anthony's alum, it's very prideful to see players like that come through the program. Your
no
son.
question. Once a friar, always a friar.
There you are.
Yeah, he's got some just so impressive. And it looks effortless. It's just flicking his wrist. Good size, too.
I'm going to throw something fun at you.
Sure.
So after we picked this and we were done with all the players that would participate, and nothing's perfect. There's a couple of really good quarterbacks out there that will have a good year this year, and if they're underclassmen, they'll get a shot next year to be in this event. We did the best we could selecting everybody. I've had quite a few people call and say, hey, how was my son picked for this? Or how come my son wasn't picked for this? You know, there's no perfect science for this or All Long Island. You know how prestigious the Newsday All Long Island team is and what it means to people. But you know what I want to add to this event next year? Take a guess.
Lineman?
No, you're the fourth guy in a row that said lineman. Oh, come on. Okay, yeah, they should add a lineman event. I get it. Without them, quarterbacks can't do the job, as we see them walking off the field together. Dante Torres telling them, thanks for nice catches, but the ball was right there.
Right there.
Okay, you ready?
Go ahead.
No, not lineman. Ready? We need to have the quarterback challenge with all the girls from flag football.
Oh, okay. I didn't think you were going to go in that direction,
yeah,
but
because it's
certainly
an official sport next year.
Sure it is.
And we'll get the top 10 girls quarterbacks out here. Trust me, some of those girls can fling it.
Oh, absolutely. I had an opportunity to catch a couple of the games, and saw what Anthony Krakow and that staff over at Mepham was able to do with those girls. They had some team.
Yeah, Sophia Laspina. She emerged as somebody of note, catching the first touchdown pass for a girl in Long Island history.
Absolutely.
And then she leads them to the flag title.
I was just speaking with one of their coaches. It's a football player at Mepham, Ryan Thier. And Ryan helped coach the team. And they're actually going to be recognized by the New York Jets at an upcoming preseason game down on the field. So that's good for those girls in that program.
I'm telling you right now, watch Jeremy Weiss. He's up right now from Comac. He can throw it. He is an emerging star. You know, this is where people make me look good, you know, and that's hard to do, Matt.
Yeah, no.
This is
no, Greg, you do a great job.
John Prahalis told me about this kid. He goes, trust me, he's going to be a guy. And he is right. He looks great today.
Yeah, he stood out. I was watching him before.
But you like that? So I got to remember, every time I talk to all you football guys, I got to say linemen first and then my girls' flag football players.
Yeah, let's take care of the big guys first. You know, we don't want to overlook those guys.
The other thing I love, Matty, I love how these kids go over and thank the receivers.
Yes.
High five and go over and say hello. It's important. It's important.
Absolutely.
It shows that they care and they know that they're doing the right thing.
Hey.
Our next quarterback coming up right now, Michael Wheat, St. John the Baptist. Now, he was at Roslyn last year. Do you remember him last year?
I actually don't, but I do know that they had a very competitive program last year.
Now you know why. 1,200 yards passing, 12 touchdowns. This is the guy.
Yep. I'm sure that he's going to be a loss for those kids over at Roslyn because this kid's impressive.
No doubt a game changer for St. John the Baptist.
Absolutely.
Seems like the Catholic League is loaded this year.
Yeah.
They're good all the way around. But you look at his stats, Michael Wheat, very impressive. Kind of flew under the radar, maybe because he was at Roslyn. But you're right, they did have a better year than usual last year.
Yes, absolutely. The Roslyn program this year, what we've done is we've kind of encouraged some of the lower level programs that are struggling to field the team to look to merge with another program instead of giving up football. And Friends Academy has done that. So Friends Academy is merging this year with Roslyn.
Wow.
So they'll have both schools will have the opportunity to have high school football.
So now when you do something like that, you play an 8-game schedule. You play 4 on the road, 4 at home. Do they split the 4 at home 2 and 2?
Great question. That's up to the individual program. Most of them will make the arrangements to have at least one game at the other school. Sometimes the other school may not have the facilities to handle it. But if they do, we encourage them to do that, to be able to play at least one game at the other school's home site.
I like that because it gives the school something to look forward to. You know how it is.
Sure.
School with football. Everybody rallies around the football team. You need that identity.
Absolutely. You know, listen, football kicks off the school year, kicks off the high school sports season. And no disrespect to any other sports, but, you know, football brings the community together, and Friday nights show that.
Michael Wheat looks like a middle linebacker too, doesn't he?
That kid knows where the weight room is.
You just hope his line is just as big as he is.
Yeah.
Our final competitor here, Coach, is Zion Woodhull Trippett, Holy Trinity, and they are high on this guy. Look at this throw. Oof. He has an absolute cannon. They got a lot of athletes on that Holy Trinity football team. I want to see how they do against the toughest schedule this year. Last year, they played the cupcake schedule. This year, they're playing a pretty tough schedule, and they were maligned for it unfairly. You can only play who's on your schedule, you know, and they beat everybody up. They went to the championship. They won that title, and they're building the program again from the ground up. And, you know, there's something to be said for that. I talked to their athletic director, Chris Harder, and he told me, hey, you got to start somewhere. So this is how we started. It's going really well. We're doing a great job. Now we'll see what we're made of this year. But, man, they're loaded with talent. They got a lot of great athletes.
Yeah, to your point, it'll be real interesting to see once they start playing those other schools.
The AA schools.
AA schools. We'll see where their program really is.
I'll be honest, I think they'll be fine. I saw them last year. They were good. They were good, and they got a lot of those kids back. They got some big D1 commits, so we'll see. But it's a little different when you go up and you play week after week. Stepanak, St. Anthony's, Iona Prep. It's a tough schedule. And it looks like Chaminade's made some good strides back to the top division too.
Yeah, they have. They have come back.
I always.
And you know what? It's always
Chaminade
good too
games.
with the Catholic League. When you think about the Catholic League, St. Anthony's and Chaminade a couple of years ago, I believe they won the Single A championship. It's good to see some of the other programs starting to have some success, because certainly the Catholic League is dominated by the city schools and the Westchester schools, aside from this run that St. Anthony's has had.
Well, the run St. Anthony's had from like 99 to 2012 was just ridiculous. 12 out of 13 CHSFL championships in the AAA. That'll do it for that segment. Segment 4 was arm strength, the long ball toss, and cover 2 hole shots. 2 from the far hash and 2 from the right and left. We're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back.
Jump shot, leave your knee shot? We've got specialists for that. Face down after that face off? We've got specialists for that. Half pipe, leave you full of pain? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle, so you can feel better, faster.
Do you want to do the third, or you don't think it's necessary?
All right, we're back at the Long Island Quarterback Challenge, National Football Foundation with Matt McLeese. Matt, thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure, as always. I'm looking forward to the football season. Enjoy the last month of this beautiful summer.
Will do. Hey, Greg, just want to take the opportunity to thank you personally for all that you do for Nassau County and Suffolk County high school football. You are the voice of Long Island football, and we know that. And you have a heck of a job, and you do it with a lot of passion, a lot of fairness. You're a true professional, and I thank you for everything you've done for football here on Long Island, Greg.
Maddie, thank you very much. I do it with all my heart. I love high school football. Got a couple of months left, maybe a couple of years. I don't know. I love it.
Take care. Thanks,
all right,
Greg.
Matt. Thanks for joining us. Greg Sarah back here at Kings Park High School at the Long Island Quarterback Challenge, the National Football Foundation, Orland & Cohen Sports Medicine, and we are going to rock and roll into the next event. Coach John Gill just gave the competitors their marching orders. We're going to get started here with segment 5, mobility, and joining us shortly will be Tim Horan, the Suffolk County football chairman. I hope he tells me that I've done a good job, because then I'll feel like I'm complete. Love these guys. I mean, it just feels really good. I don't know if Tim's going to do that. But here we go. Segment 5, mobility, throwing on the run while staying parallel to the line of scrimmage. They'll throw 2 from the right, 2 from the left in the first part of segment 5, mobility. Up now is Tommy Azara of Smithtown East. And we're having fun. I'll tell you what. The guys are coming in and coming out and going out, and Tim Horan is coming in the booth right now to join me. And Tim, are you all set up?
All set, ready to go.
All right, we're going to go with number 11 as our first competitor. A little bit of a change. We'll see how that's going to work out. So our 11th competitor here is Jeremy Weiss of Comac. They have him up first. And it's going to be about mobility. Can they wheel it, stop, and fire? And Jeremy Weiss can certainly do that, Coach. What do you think, Tim? Good arm?
Looking impressive.
It's fun. Rapid fire. Take it and gun it. Look at those throws. You want a guy like that over on West Islip. Look at that. Well, your West Islip quarterbacks are guys that just run 25 times a game, run people over. Even if they're little guys, they run for 200 yards. They're amazing athletes, right?
Yeah, we've had some great success in West Islip with our quarterbacks, and we continue to try and be a little bit more diversified, keep some people off balance, and lead to continued success.
Well, what about this guy, Dante Torres, St. Anthony's quarterback, number 10? Have you been watching him throw the long ball?
Yeah, he's impressive. St. John's actually is in West Islip. We actually used to have some preseason scrimmages with them. We've always had great events, and they've had some great athletes over there, and watching him is no different.
So the Catholic League has a lot of good quarterbacks this year. St. John the Baptist, St. Anthony's, Kellenberg, Holy Trinity, and here goes Dante Torres of St. Anthony's. Pick it up and let it rip. Look at that throw. Don't you love a beautiful spiral? You don't want to see the ball
you can tell
wobbles.
he's been coached up well, and he's going to have continued success coming into this season. This is an awesome venue for him and all the quarterbacks, and as well as the receivers, to really demonstrate their skills and what they've been doing. They most of the summer they're working in isolation a lot of times, and this is a great venue to really show what they're capable of.
You see Matt Sims jotting down notes after every competitor goes. He's standing at about the 26-yard line, taking notes on everybody, just checking them out. And now we're going to go with number 5, Owen Johansson. You've seen him quite a bit from Northport. What's your breakdown on him?
Yeah, unfortunately we saw him too much last year, and ultimately him and his teammates at Northport knocked West Islip out. They went on to have a great game at Lindenhurst, but he's a great quarterback, adds many different elements to their game, and you can't really get comfortable defensively playing him because he can throw the ball over the top or they'll jam it down your throats. So he's going to be part of a very good football team.
Greg Sarah joined by Tim Horan, the Director of Athletics at West Islip High School. And Tim, Owen Johansson's looking pretty good. His knee looks solid. He's coming back from an injury and just a fantastic athlete. I thought he was just as good on defense as he was on offense. I thought he was just an unbelievable middle linebacker.
Yeah, high school football at its best. We have so many student athletes that are two-way players for us and big-time players. And when you see some of these student athletes step up, they really determine the outcome of the game. And unfortunately, on the other side, when student athletes have an injury, it really changes many teams because they have such an impact on the overall outcome of every game they play in.
Well done in that event as they're switching up the order. He's calling everybody in after everybody ran through that. That was Zion Woodhull Trippett.
Yeah, with Zara and also Stahl here, along with Johansson. They're coming out of Division II football in Section 11, and it's going to be a real tough division.
Yeah, we talked a little earlier with Coach Steve Costello of Smithtown East, and he was telling me how in that division, any one of the first 7 or 8 teams can win it. I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And traditionally, that's the way it's been in Division II football. There's tremendous parity. We have 14 teams in the division, but, there's 7, 8 teams, and anybody that makes the postseason can win it all.
Coach John Gill going over the drill again with our competitors, making sure they understand completely how the mobility drill works.
Yeah, I don't know if there's another coach who's as committed as Coach John Gill.
You get a break. Okay, so 2 receivers, you got to get ready. Okay? All right? So, Tommy is up first. Let's go.
Tommy Azara will be stepping in first.
They're throwing on the run, staying flat. So once the ball's caught or we're not caught, then you just take care of the ball. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be two passes that direction, 2 passes that direction.
Throwing on the run while fading away from the target. 2 to the right, 2 to the left. First up will be Tom Azara from Smithtown East. Tim, did West Islip play Smithtown East last year?
No, we didn't play last year, just based on the seeding. There's 14 teams in the division. You play 8 regular season games, and it's based on the seed that you have. So you'll play, 8 opponents of the 14. The other 5 you won't see until possibly the postseason.
So this is a mobility drill where they roll to the right, escape the pressure, throw on the run. I like this drill.
Yeah, having John Gill here is really awesome. Like I said, there's probably nobody more dedicated than him. But football is his life. He was working out with guys last night. The player from, Bowling Green, working out with him. They have him working out this morning before this showcase. And here he is spending his whole day here focusing on these younger student athletes, these quarterbacks, receivers, and giving them the recognition they deserve.
I love those last 2 throws by Azara coming left, rolling right, turning his hips, and getting a lot of juice on the ball into the end zone. 2 touchdown throws. As we go to number 2, Matt Cardjulu of Manhasset. Now he'll roll right, throw on the run. Tim, you watch some of these guys work with the different quarterbacks on Long Island, and I've watched videos of Rob Haas working with different guys, especially with Jack Cohn. I watched James Brady work with guys. Quarterbacking is different now with the spread. You have to be mobile. You have to be able to get out of dodge. You have to be able to spread the field. You see it as a totally different position in the last decade.
Yeah, the skill set playing quarterback in a spread offense is completely different than years ago, as opposed to hand the ball off. You were a runner back then, but now you're reading defenses. Years ago, coaches were calling plays and the teammate would run the play in. Now everything's being signaled from the sideline, and then based on the defense that they're seeing, not only are they making checks and audibles, but they're also calling plays on the line of scrimmage right now. So from an intellect standpoint, there's a lot more time needed to invest in it preseason during this time of the year, and that growth continues throughout the entire season.
Brady Clark of Bayport Blue Point is up, a student of Rob Haas, neighboring communities, Sayville and Bayport. Clark will come left now from the far hash. Tough throw, right? Running to your left, right-handed quarterback.
Yeah, not easy.
On the run,
try and square those shoulders up, make an accurate pass. Common mistake is they sail it past the receiver into the sideline because their momentum is bringing them that way. They've got to really fight to turn those shoulders and get it going upfield.
Now here's a guy with a big arm, Owen Johansson. Made me look good earlier in the long toss. I told everybody before they had the competition he would throw it the longest, and he didn't disappoint.
A lot of pressure.
Well, I know that from against West Islip. He threw a couple balls 65 yards, and I was like, what? And that was with shoulder pads on.
Yes. Yep, impressive.
I'm just glad he's healthy. You hate to see when these guys go down and then you miss. We get gypped because we don't get to see them play anymore. And that's part of the whole thing. These guys are great athletes. Look at that.
Absolutely. For them, they put in so much time, effort. They make so many sacrifices. They're so dedicated to the sport and to their teammates. You want them to reap some of the rewards and be a part of that, be able to play during the season.
Peter Leota of North Shore is our next guy. He's coming up here. We'll start at the 25-yard line. Coach John Gill will get him started. So I know you guys at West Islip are still running from under center. But when you watch this, is it kind of like foreign to you, or do you love it?
No, you know what? We've based on our athletes, we sort of change it up. We'll be in the shotgun a little bit more, I think, coming this season. But yeah, you know, Coach Milletti, he's done a great job over the years, and he tries to vary it up based on the skill set of the athletes. Obviously, got to be able to run the football in the postseason, and that's a big emphasis. But at the same time, always continuing to grow and expand the offense, just trying to keep people off balance.
We were talking early about West Islip, how some years people don't give them the respect of where they are in the seedings or where they're going to be at the end, but they're always there at the end. It's like one of the most storied programs on Long Island, and I think it's because you hit the nail on the head. Steve Milletti looks at the skill set of the players, the current players, and doesn't look at what we could be or should be. He looks at what we are. And tradition plays a big role in West Islip. Those kids believe they're going to win every time they take the field, whether they're surrounded with talent or they're just hardworking blue-collar guys. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Coach Milletti and his staff put in a lot of time in the off-season, year-round, even during the season, you know, just picking stuff up from different clinics, conferences, identifying the skill set of the kids, and then trying to put the puzzle together, trying to see what will work, what, you know, gradually introduce things, make sure that you're not overwhelming the kids, but at the same time, always having that strong foundation. You know, many times you see programs that they bring everything in from every clinic they see, and they don't have any identity. So the one thing that Coach Milletti and his staff does is, you know, develop an identity and then build off of that. And whatever the program the kids and the schemes can do to give them an opportunity to be success, that's great. And then obviously the mindset of the players that they'll come to play every week and week in and week out. And those are common traits to all successful programs.
There's no doubt. And we just watched Matt Metzger of Cary have an outstanding round. And you know he comes to play, comes from a family of great competitors. And now Devin Page of Kellenberg looking real good in a mobility drill. Good arm strength, good feet, gets outside the tackle. I like the way he turned his hips, squared his shoulders, and made that first throw. Let's see if he can do it again right here. Comes outside. You know, he got away with arm strength on that. Did you see? He didn't really turn that hip. But he gets away with it because he has such a great arm.
Yeah, many of these players here are still continuing to develop, and those are all great points that they'll continue to pick up as they move on, and they're always looking to grow, and one of the reasons why they're here today, learn from the best.
Braden Stahl of Smithtown West makes some nice throws going to his right, rolling right. Now he'll go to the far hash and come towards us, throwing while rolling to his left. Good throw. Tim, you love it, a little football in the middle of summer.
You know, this is priceless, this opportunity for these players. Like I said, you know, they're working so hard. This provides them a great venue for exposure, creates some excitement, not only in the players, their teammates, their communities, all of Long Island, and it really perpetuates and moves us right into the season. So I can't mention enough good things about Len Genova and the National Football Foundation taking on this and making it a positive, rewarding, educational experience for everybody involved. It really creates some excitement. And, you know, I appreciate you showing up for once and doing something around football. But at the same time, really thank you. Yeah, Newsday and your staff and everybody. It really provides great coverage for the kids. So thank you.
Dante Torres of St. Anthony's, rolling right. Now he'll come left. You know, it's anything football, I'm going to make myself available. It's an opportunity for Newsday to see the top players, you know, in the middle of the summer. Give us an idea of who's going to be in the top 100, you know, who we're going to focus on during the season for our coverage plan. You know, it doesn't all happen in a vacuum. We send out surveys. The coaches are fantastic. By the way, you got to let me know when the coaches' meeting is so I can be there and give out the surveys. Although we did send them out in a mailer earlier, And we do have like 80 teams already in-house, which is really impressive because people are excited about the football season. I think last year gave us that opportunity to get back to some sort of normalcy after a year off, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Those surveys are awesome, and this event here is just going to create even more momentum going into the season. You already said you have a great turnout in terms of responses, and I'm sure those other remaining programs will get the information then.
Here's Jeremy Weiss of Comac. He's opened quite a few eyes in this event. Coming towards us, rolling left, big arm. Nice throw, great catch. And again, you want to thank Kings Park High School and their administration for opening their doors, Coach Mark O'Brien, and giving them the opportunity to run the Long Island Quarterback Challenge here in such a beautiful facility. We got great weather. It was sunny all morning. It's a little overcast now, which is good. It's cooled things off a little bit because they're out there on the turf. National Football Foundation has done a phenomenal job in putting this together and giving all these great high school athletes an opportunity to showcase their skills.
Yeah, great first annual event, and I'm sure everyone on Long Island will be marking their calendars for next year for the second.
Michael Wheat, who transferred from Roslyn to St. John the Baptist this year, has looked very good in the competition. Throws the ball very well, threw for over 1,200 yards last year. And Tim, I broke this to Matt McLeese earlier, the Nassau football chairman, and now I'm going to have to break it to the Suffolk football chairman. I am pushing for this event to also include the top girls quarterbacks in flag football next year.
Yeah, I think it's great. The first inaugural season for the girls football, flag football, was a great success. It's going to continue to grow, and it will be another great opportunity for student athletes to get the recognition that they well deserve.
So now I saw in the state committee, the central committee, that they approved flag football as an official New York State sport for the girls. Last year was really the pilot program for the sport, and it was a rousing success. And the New York Jets had a lot to do with that, and so did all of the athletic directors who bought in and wanted it to work. And with everybody pushing and behind that sport, it looks like that'll be an official sport next year. Is that pretty exciting to everybody in Suffolk County?
Yeah, so, this past year was more of a club type of event, didn't fit the criteria for a sport, but the New York State Public High School Athletic Association has specific criteria as to when a team can be recognized in New York State as a sport. And it really is about involvement, the number of kids participating, the number of programs participating. We just read in Newsday today about wrestling, girls wrestling becoming an emerging sport, where there's 4 sections out of 11 in New York State that have 4 teams or more that allowed it to reach that threshold to become an emerging sport. And girls flag football has exceeded that, and now I think the criteria is maybe 8 out of 11 sections have to have it, then recognize it with 4 teams or more in each section, and that allows it to be recognized as a true sport.
I love it. Zion Woodhull Trippett completes that phase, and now Coach John Gill will speak.
Okay, we're going to put the ball in the middle of the field. We're going to take 5 snaps. You get your 5 footballs. You're going to catch and throw them as fast as you can. So your 2 receivers should be ready. 1 catch, the other guy get ready to catch. It's going to be rapid fire. Okay, rapid fire, 5 in a row. All right, any questions? All right, so if you're on that sideline, better pay attention because there'll be some bad passes. It's going to happen. Okay, because the snaps are coming. We're not waiting for you. The snaps are coming. So you better keep your eyes up, otherwise you get hit in the head. Okay, let's go. Tommy. Okay, receivers out there at the bottom of the numbers. On the 30, receivers on 30. Quick release drill. What you need? Tell me.
Peter, I'm shooting for you guys.
Yeah, I'm saying, but what do you need, like, question-wise?
What drill are they doing now?
Let's go.
We're back at the Long Island Quarterback Challenge. And Tim, I'm looking at the way that they put this together and all of the different events and how quickly it's gone and how organized it's been. It's impressive. By coordinating practices with different teams and a lot of people coming and going, how hard this is. Your impression?
Yeah, the great ones make it look simple. And Len Genova and Tom Bruno from T&D Sports and everybody else, John Gill, putting this together, really put a lot of time and effort into it, to every detail of this event, to make sure it's a positive experience for everybody. I know a couple of months ago we were chatting, touching base, and Len was over at my place with Tom, and we were game planning with a number of other people to bring everything together here, and they've done a great job here in the first inaugural quarterback showcase here, and it's only going to get better and better. But there's a lot of people behind the scenes volunteering their time, and that's one of the great things about Scholastic football. All the people involved are volunteers. They don't have to be here. They don't have to do these. They don't have to be brainstorming these events over the past couple of months and touching base and reaching out. But it's a love, it's a passion, and it's all about the student athletes. Put them on a platform and show everybody what they can do.
So we finished the mobility segment of the quarterback challenge, and now we're into release quickness. Coach John Gill flips the ball to a quarterback. He gets it out as quick as he can, fires it to a receiver, and it's a rapid fire type of thing. Tim, I'm going to let you run. I know you got something to take care of down on the field. Thanks for staying up here with me. I appreciate you.
Greg, thanks for everything you do. Really appreciate it. I know it's busting your chops a little bit, but you're one of those volunteers that always steps up. And
no
if
sweat.
anything needs to be done, you're always there. So thank you.
Thanks, Tim. As we watch the release quickness event get underway, how fast can you get rid of the football, get to that quick hit receiver? And giving everybody an opportunity to jump in there. This is the 6th segment of the quarterback challenge. Tommy Azara and Matt Carjulu are through the release quickness segment, and now it's Brady Clark of Bayport Blue Point. And you can just see how quick they have to get the ball out. Clark did a nice job there. Joining us now in studio, Steve Fasciani, the president of the Suffolk County Football Coaches Association. Steve, what's your impressions on the event? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Well, thanks for having me. I think this is just such a great event. Len Genova and the National Football Foundation has been a great partner for Long Island football for a number of years, and just how organized it is and what an opportunity it is for all these quarterbacks to come out and show their stuff. And it's just a great run event. I really love it.
Rapid fire, release quickness. This is Owen Johansson getting the ball out quick. And you're getting a preview right now, Steve, of all the top quarterbacks on Long Island. It's fun. This is a fun event.
Yeah, it's just really going into the preseason. It's just such a great thing to see. And there's so much talent here on Long Island, and sometimes gets overlooked. And events like this just brings it to the forefront.
I want to thank you for getting our surveys for Newsday out to all the coaches. I was telling Tim Horan earlier that we have almost, I think it's like 80 of the surveys in across Long Island. That's a big deal. We like to hear from every coach so we know who's out there. We don't want any kid left out, and we really don't want to miss those top prospects.
Yeah, it's so important to coaches that advocate for their kids, and obviously Newsday and you do such a great job of advocating for our kids and highlighting them all throughout the year.
You know, we tell people every time there's a top 100, maybe the bottom 20, 80 to 100 could have been 20 guys that were 100 to 120. We do the best that we can. But it's arbitrary in some ways. It's as selective as it can be, but nothing is a perfect science. But I tell kids that don't make that top 100 Newsday list, work hard and get recognized during the season, and we'll make you an athlete of the week. We'll make you a gridiron great. We'll make you a player of the week. You know, we'll do a feature. There's other ways. Prove that you needed to be or you should have been on that list. And that inspires a lot of players, and a lot of kids with character will go out and do that, and then we'll have the opportunity to focus on them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Whenever you got to look at challenges as an opportunity to get better and make yourself better, and the accolades will come. There's plenty of opportunities for you to get your name out there and show your ability. And like you said, there's so many opportunities for to be noticed and recognized.
You know, some of the guys are laughing after they go through some of the drills, you can see how tough it is. That was Peter Leota of North Shore. Did a nice job. Got the ball out quickly, and the next guy coming out looks like Dante Torres is going to jump ahead, number 10. We'll see if he sets up. Yeah. So you think coaches watch all these different drills and take anything away from them, the footwork or the quick release?
You know, as a guy who coaches quarterbacks myself, it's been kind of my thing. I look for their releases, I look for their footwork, and I think the guys out here running these drills have done a great job with these kids, as well as their coaches and their high school programs. So really, you can tell how they're developing and they're getting better.
We talked earlier about not having the Boomer Esiason and Empire Challenge to benefit cystic fibrosis. It would have been the 25th year. We lost it during the pandemic, and it never really gained the traction to come back. And I don't think folks on Long Island really understood or realized just how much work Boomer Esiason and his staff did and how much money was raised to put that event together. And you had a lot of people said they would run a all-star event this year, and it all fell apart and all fell through. It kind of gives me a better scope of what Boomer actually did. And it's a great loss, but it was a lot of work. And I don't know that we'll ever see that again, and that's sad because it gave people so many wonderful memories and highlighted high school football on Long Island and in New York City. And I'm hoping that at some point next year, a corporate sponsor can come in and take control of that game and do it and try to do it as well as Boomer did it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Greg. That was such a great event. And, you know, I was just speaking with Pete Blyberg, who was the director of that game, and just all the work that went into it and the preparation, people don't understand. And we need those corporate sponsors, hopefully, to step up and be part of that and continue that great work that Boomer did. Boomer still does great work, you know, in the community. And it was just such a great event. And I was able to be a part of it a few years. And, you know, we're hoping to bring something like that back and do honor to the work that Boomer did as well.
Zion Woodhull Trippett fires away. This is a tough event. A lot of guys rushing their throws, trying to get it out quick, release quickness. Pretty cool. Did you like that one?
Yeah, I do. You know, quick release is something, it's hard to teach. You know, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, so Dan Marino might be one of the greatest quick release quarterbacks there ever were. So when I see a kid that has a quick release naturally, that's just such a plus for a coach, and you can build from there, and it's hard to force it. You really have to work it, and it comes with a lot of, you know, your footwork and your balance all plays into that as well.
All right, Steve, I want to thank you for joining us at the Long Island Quarterback Challenge. I'm going to let you bounce as we head into segment 7. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Greg. Thanks for everything you do.
Starts, brother.
He's going to interview Kamal until Lenny gets on the track. When Lenny's ready to start his interview with Ray, he's going to give me the cut. Then you got to wrap yours up, and that's going to go down the left. So be good.
Quarterback Challenge is Kamal Roy, the terrific high school football coach. Ready for this? At Holy Trinity High School, which is stepping up in a division with a lot of talent. Coach, are you excited about this season?
Very excited about this season. It's a testament of the kids doing the hard work and being able to kind of accept the challenges of moving up. Yeah.
So you guys had a terrific year last year, and I know we talked about this earlier. The people are like, well, the schedule wasn't what it was, but you're building the program again from the ground up from when you were an All Long Island selection in Newsday. It's going in the right direction.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to pick up where Coach Massia left off and try to bring in some of the same tradition of the Holy Trinity program. We've been fairly successful over our tenure in the league, and, you know, we want to get back to being a AAA program, but it takes some time. You know, it takes getting the right kids in the building, right families around us, and being able to gather the right support.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job, Kamal, and I got to tell you, you got some athletes. There's some guys that are burners over there. Your quarterback looks real good here in the competition. How does the line look?
Line is looking okay. They're going to be young, but they're going to be well coached. I think that's one of the values that we bring to our program and why we remain competitive is that we kind of coach the heck out of those guys and make sure that they're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So they'll be young, but they'll be talented, and we'll be able to do some things that be able to magnify what they do well.
I look at the Catholic League as a whole. It looks like the whole league is real strong.
Yeah. It we like to tout that, we're kind of one of the top leagues in downstate. We have the fortunate option of being able to get kids from different areas. But it's a testament to what the coaches are doing with their programs and the support and the backing that the schools are giving the programs as well.
What are you most excited about this year?
I just want to see how we handle success. Success can kind of bring really good things, but success can kind of run you into some places that aren't great. So that's been our messaging over this summer, just to make sure that we handle success the right way and at least bring the same things that we brought last season, and know that we're going to have some tougher opponents in Chaminade and Kellenberg and more Catholic. So we're going to have to step it up.
Now, you're passionate about coaching, but you're an even keel personality. You always were when you were a kid, and you are as a coach. But I can see that competitive fire burning, and that you want that opportunity to go and play the better programs on Long Island and in the Catholic League, and that's really where you're taking the program.
Absolutely, man. I think it just pays respects to what I was able to go through as a player, what Coach Massia and a lot of the coaches that have been a part of that have gone through as a staff, just to make sure that we kind of bring the program back to prominence and that we can compete and be in those conversations with the big name schools. A lot of guys are out there doing a really good job. There's a lot of kids that run around in different programs in our league that I coach in separate areas. So I'm happy to see that, and I want to make sure that our kids have those same experiences.
You're watching these drills today, and they're in the final segment of the quarterback challenge. It's a pocket presence where they roll and throw, and they have some guys working on the drill right now on the field. Wouldn't you watch an event like this with the magnitude of players and all the different good quarterbacks? How does it make you feel as a former outstanding wide receiver?
No, it feels great, man, because for the quarterback position specifically, there's a lot of checks and balances that you have to go through in order to be efficient. And those guys are going to realize that as they get up to the higher levels, efficiency is going to be what's most important. So I love what Coach Gill is doing out here with these guys in terms of putting them situations where mechanically, mentally, and execution-wise that they have to be really efficient in order to be successful.
You're watching Zion out here. Now, you employed a two-quarterback offense last year. Are you doing that again this year, or is he going to be the main guy?
We're going to make a determination as a staff. We have two very talented kids and a young guy who's kind of on their heels and chomping at the bit. So it's a good problem to have. So we're continuing this conversation as a staff to see how we're going to best approach this. But I have no doubt whether it's Zion or anyone else in our program, we're going to be able to do it the right way.
Yeah, when I was looking at the selection process of who was going to be in this event, and we came up with 21 names. I had two Holy Trinity quarterbacks in there.
Yes, sir.
And then they said, you kind of got to pick one or the other. So I asked a couple of the opposing coaches, and that's how we came up with Zion being in the event. But you can name your other quarterback. I'm okay with that. Put him on, because he's terrific, and he could have easily been in the event. And maybe next year we do extend that courtesy to one high school with two quarterbacks. But even your director of athletics, Chris Hardock, could not pick between the two because they're both outstanding.
Yeah, they're great players. What Zion brings to the table, he has got great stature, great arm strength, and he's kind of surprisingly mobile for being such a big-bodied kid. Rocco, on the other hand, is very mobile, very strong arm, very cerebral kid. So it's almost like, having the best of both worlds and two different kids, and that's why we were fortunate enough to be able to play both of them effectively last year. So again, like I said, we're gonna figure it out. It's a good problem for us to have, and we'll work from there.
So that was Rocco Renone, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's something that it just should be out there, because you never know in high school football where, God forbid, somebody goes down. If you have somebody of equal ability or caliber, knows the offense, knows the system, the team doesn't skip a beat.
Sure. So these guys coming into the building were just part and parcel to why we were able to change our system. We were able to kind of do some things with more downfield options and some read zone things, just simply because of the talent that they have. Josiah Patrick is a young up-and-coming quarterback in our program as well. So all three of those guys can get done what we're trying to do from an offensive standpoint. So, it's exciting. It's exciting to know that, the next guy in will be able to be just as efficient. And like I said, we coach them hard, and we kind of hammer in the details with those guys. So, anyone that steps out there for us has the checks and balances to be able to do what we want them to do.
So a little bit of a joke, have a little bit of fun. Did you guys get turf on your football field yet?
Say again?
Do you have turf on your football field yet?
Yes, we do. So I laugh with the kids all the time because when I played there, we had a ball spot in between the 20.
That's where I was going
yes,
with
sir.
it.
And so they're getting all the amenities now. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I was going to go two ways with that. Joke with you about how that used to be the worst field around when you played.
It was terrible.
I know it's tough. I'm just joking around, but I also wanted Coach Hardart to hear the telecast and go, yeah, he hasn't been to a game over here in like 5 years.
That's right.
Because the games I covered for you guys were in Mitchell.
Right.
So I got to make it a point to come over to 106, 107 and check you guys out.
No knock to the landscaping staff over there, but Mr. Hardart, Coach Massia, they used to have to put the quick dry dust on the turf if it rained, man. So it was a tough go.
I'll make them feel better. The two worst grass football fields in Long Island, if I was voting, and we do top 10s and everything, so I could do top 10s worst football fields.
Okay,
ready? Quagmire, fact.
Yeah.
William Floyd High School, grass football field.
Yeah.
If it rained the night before or that morning, it was bad sledding on that field.
Yeah.
You were squishing down 6 inches, 8 inches. Bad. Paul Longo would not disagree with me.
Yeah.
Bad field number 2, Sayville High School.
Okay.
Brutal grass field where when it rained, it crowned poorly and it would flood in the south end zone.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, but fact. That's why Sayville and Reed Sands, the head coach, they play over on the other field over on Greeley, which is a beautiful turf field.
Got you.
So, but the charm and the tradition is over on the grass field.
Yes, sir.
So I want to thank Kings Park for the beautiful facility today and opening their doors, their administration, Coach Mark O'Brien. Great day today for the Long Island Quarterback Challenge. They're in the final event right now, which was segment 7, which was pocket presence. It was getting out, sliding away from unblocked pressure, getting away from a rusher, and throwing on the outside of the tight end, let's say, and tackle. So all these guys have done a great job today. We're down to our final 2 guys here in the last drill. Coach Matt Sims is out there tabulating all the votes to see who all our winners are in the different competitions. And they'll be presented when we're done here. Coach, I want to thank you for joining us. Kamal Roy of Holy Trinity, good luck this year.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll see you. I'll see you. I promise I'll be out at a game.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Thanks. All right, Greg Sarah from Newsday Sports. We're wrapping up the Long Island Quarterback Challenge with the National Football Foundation, highlighted and sponsored by Orland & Cohen Sports Medicine. It has been an incredibly fun day, a beautiful day. A lot of fans, a lot of coaches here checking out all the great quarterbacks and the receivers. I want to thank all the receivers who came down to make the quarterbacks look good. And we are moving along with T&D Sports Video Production and Tommy Bruno and staff. And we are coming to a close here as Zion Woodhull Triplett throws the final pass of this competition. Lenny Genova will get the final results, and we will have the winners of the first annual Long Island Quarterback Challenge in a few moments.
Jump shot, leave your knee shot? We've got specialists for that. Face down after that face off? We've got specialists for that. Half pipe, leave you full of pain? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle, so you can feel better faster.
Experience. Trusted. Proven. Excellence. Over 20 years of professional sports video production. The industry standard. T&D Sports Video Production. Whether it's a single game, a whole season, or a college recruitment video, T&D Sports is the solution. T&D Sports Video Productions. All sports, all levels, all the time.
Jump shot, leave your knee shot? We've got specialists for that. Face down after that face off? We've got specialists for that. Half pipe, leave you full of pain? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle, so you can feel better, faster.
Good morning. My name is Len Genova. I'm the president of the James C. Metzger Suffolk County chapter of the National Football Foundation. The foundation itself was created in 1947 and is dedicated to promoting amateur football and to honoring those individuals who serve the game, whether they be players, coaches, administrators, or referees. Our chapter here in Suffolk County has been in existence since 1995, and every year at our Scholar Athlete Brunch, we recognize one scholar athlete from each of the schools, both public, Catholic, and private, that play football in Suffolk County, provided they meet our minimum criteria. Now, from that group, we pick our top 11, which we refer to as our Golden 11. And they truly represent academic and athletic excellence and represent all that's right about scholastic sports. Now, from that group, we actually pick one top scholar. And through the years, we've had some amazing young people who have achieved tremendous things in their community, on the gridiron, and certainly in the classroom. So it's a very proud moment for me to be here this morning to welcome everyone and to congratulate all our scholar athletes for all the great work they've done throughout their entire careers. And a special congratulations to their parents who have invested so much time and effort into making them the successful, good people that they are. So welcome, everyone.
In 2019, the Executive Board of the Foundation decided to rename the chapter in recognition of one of Long Island's most philanthropic supporters of youth and high school athletics, James C. Metzger.
Proud to be with you here this morning and welcome you to our annual Scholar Athlete Brunch for the James C. Metzger Suffolk County chapter of the National Football Foundation. And I have none other than our namesake, James Metzger, with me this morning. So, Jim, the first question I have for you is, what does it mean to you to have our Top Scholar Athlete Award named in recognition of your late dad, Conrad, who unfortunately passed away recently?
Yeah, it's hard to put it into words. I don't want to get choked up when Len just within the last day or two told me that, and I saw the program. It's probably the most special award I've ever been associated with, and I've been involved in athletics for 50 years. So my dad was my best friend, and he's looking down from heaven. I know he's saying.
Good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Len Genova from the National Football Foundation. It was a great competition. We decided to change things up a little bit. We went straight through, and now the young men are breaking for lunch, and our judges are tabulating the scores. And while we're doing that, there were a couple of people we wanted to have you meet and get a chance to get to know. My first guest is no stranger to me. It's been a good friend and someone that's been a National Football Foundation board member since 1997, but he also functions with Orland & Cohen, our presenting sponsor today. So I wanted to give everyone a special welcome to Ray Nelson. Ray, how are you today?
Very good, Len. Great to be here.
Wanted to ask you, tell us a little bit about your role with Orland & Cohen, what you're doing here today for us with the foundation, but also other things that you're doing, the services you provide throughout Long Island to the high school sports community.
Well, our primary goal is to provide great care, great access to athletes in need. But as the Director of Sports Medicine and Development, we give back to athletics as part of our development process. Not all of it is about treating athletes. A lot of it is about supporting athletes and helping them to do better, to be better, to stay healthier, and supporting the foundation and the work that they do, which is great work. like Len said, have been here for 25 years. They recognize athletes who perform well, who do well in the classroom, who are good civic and community members, and we're always happy to be part of something like that.
We're also fortunate because Orland and Cohen also sponsors our Player of the Week team. So each year during the regular season and playoffs, we select a top player county-wide based on their achievements on the gridiron, and Orland and Cohen and Ray are gracious enough to sponsor that. So tell us a little bit about the team, how long we've been doing it. I know we honored those young men in April at our function, and we had a great turnout with over 300 people, but maybe you can talk just a little bit about our Player of the Week team that we've been doing with you guys.
The Player of the Week team is a lot of fun. It's somewhat different than the foundation's normal goal of honoring student athletes who do well in the classroom, but this is strictly on a week-by-week basis, those who do well on the gridiron and the gridiron alone. So it's great to honor those performances week to week. We've got nominations from coaches who think that their athletes have had a great day, and we like to recognize that. And it's 25 years of doing it. We've recognized over 400 athletes in Suffolk County.
Ray, also, I know this is a special day. It's the first time we've been doing it, but just the value you see in events like this. Obviously, it gives the young men an opportunity to compete. And we talked a little bit earlier today about football not necessarily getting as much notoriety or being as popular here on Long Island. So what's the value you see in an event like this where we highlight some great players and maybe some kids who had good years last year but are poised to have great years coming up for the 2022 season?
Well, the big story for kids is when you put in the work in the off season, you don't know who emerges in the next season. And when you have an organization with the notoriety and respect nationally of the National Football Foundation, the information that's acquired on a day like this, the observations that are made by a skilled coach like Coach Gill, it means something. And that may help kids get another look by a different college, and it puts Long Island on the map.
And lastly, Ray, I know we talked a little bit about, we had some of your personnel in the locker room today speaking to the young men about an additional service that they were going to be provided, something to do sort of an analysis. So maybe you can tell our viewing audience a little bit about that opportunity for them.
Yeah, it's a very simple but meaningful evaluation. It's called a functional assessment, an FMS, functional movement assessment. And what it does is it puts the whole body together to simplify it and see how the different parts of the body work together to make sure that they're working in synchrony, to make sure that there aren't any imbalances in motion and strength, and that the kids can, you might have a strong arm, but if you can't move well on the field, well, that's a curse for a quarterback. And likely, if you move well but you can't throw well, then that's a curse. So we're going to set every kid up for an evaluation sometime over the next 2 weeks on schedule with a staff member.
That's terrific, Ray. Listen, on behalf of the National Football Foundation, I want to thank you for all your work throughout the year with our chapter, and also certainly couldn't have an event like this come off without the partnership with Orland and Cohen. So thank you so much for your commitment and support of high school football on Long Island.
It certainly is mine and Orland and Cohen's pleasure to be here.
Okay, Ray, thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Gill. Again, we were very fortunate because we had some great professionals. The gentleman right next to me is the person responsible for organizing and operating the football portion of the event, Jonathan Gill, former longtime quarterback coach, pass game coordinator at LIU, and the interim coach last year in 2021. I've known Coach Gill for well over 10 years. You couldn't find a better quarterback coach and a better person, and we're fortunate to have him working with our chapter today and these young men. So just wanted to chat with you for a few minutes and just talk to you first about, and we've had this personal conversation many times, about your philosophy on quarterback play in particular.
Oh, sure. Thank you again for the opportunity. It was a great experience today. But philosophy in quarterback play is, for sure, it's unconventional. I believe in struggle. I believe in failure. I kind of believe in I truly believe in the essence of the journey. I believe in the aspect of putting quarterbacks in a situation to have some success, see the improvements, giving them a plan to kind of reach their potential. And then as they start improving, trying to challenge them, doing as many things mentally, emotionally, to challenge them on a daily basis, because this position is no other position like this in sports. You are responsible for leading a football team. You are the extension of the head coach. Your job is to promote the program, the university, the high school you play for, on and off the field. And people are always looking at you when it's good and when it's bad. And in order to do that, you need to have a hardened soul. And the only way your soul can harden is through struggle and through failure. So we try to promote that and put that into situations as much as possible.
Coach, I know at LIU for the number of years, formerly Post, you've had the opportunity to coach some great quarterbacks. Many of them have gone on to have All-American collegiate careers. And I just was curious, again, I know we've talked about this many times, but what qualities do you think separated some of those players? I know some were not always the biggest or the strongest or the fastest, but in terms of the young men you had the opportunity to coach and the great ones that stood out, what were some of the qualities you found that they all possessed?
Yeah, that's a great question. As you said, they all were different individuals, different characteristics, skill set wise. Personality traits were different, but couple common themes they had. They were obsessed with getting better. They really had a true passion for improving. So, it's kind of equated to people who might be going through a weight loss program and they lose maybe the first 50, 60 pounds, and they might say, you know what, it's okay for me to have a chocolate cake today. Those young men, they wanted more and more. The more success they had, the more they saw themselves climbing up the mountain. We talk about climbing up the mountain, get to the peak. They wanted it more. They wanted it more. And their work ethic, their drive, their determination was honestly universal with all of them. And they were a great bunch of guys.
Coach, I know we might have some people out there either now while we're live streaming or certainly when it's up on YouTube, but parents of young aspiring quarterbacks, 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. And what would be your advice to that parent who's trying to give their young man the most opportunity and the best ability to be successful as a quarterback at the high school level? What would be your advice?
Yeah, that's a great question. To be honest, it's kind of what I spoke to the young men about earlier. They asked Jimmy Garoppolo many years ago, when he got to the 49ers, what did he learn from all those years under Tom Brady? And Jimmy Garoppolo's response was, quarterback is not a position, it's not a job, it's a lifestyle. And I think giving your sons responsibilities, holding them accountable, teaching them what it is to be good citizens, good young people on and off the field, finding kids at school that maybe don't have a lot of friends and sitting with them at the cafeteria. When they sit at the cafeteria and people don't pick up their trash, you go and pick up their trash. It's not like, oh, it's not my problem. Helping your coaches out, bringing the equipment on and off the field. I think you need to work on the person first, because a quarterback position is honestly a selfless position, and it's a position of sacrifice because you have to take the blame. That's just what it is all the time. And so the earlier you learn to care about others and have empathy, the more future success you'll have.
Coach, also, I know we're trying to promote football on Long Island, and we know sometimes we take a back seat to some other sports in this part of the country. But what value do you see in an event like this, where we're trying to promote football and the young men that play it, to give them some opportunities and create momentum for an event to get bigger for next year?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity. I don't know how many other places are doing this event. everyone knows about the Elite 11. That's kind of a national thing. And, sometimes I was telling the young men earlier, the Elite 11 is kind of a, really it's kind of in a way, it has a lot of value, but there's some things about it that are just a facade. They claim quarterbacks that are from the Elite 11 that never played were actually never in a national event. They just went to a regional event and they just call you Elite 11 alumni. Sam Darnold was not an Elite 11 quarterback. Baker Mayfield was not an Elite 11 quarterback. Josh Allen was not an Elite 11 quarterback. Joe Burrow was not an Elite 11 quarterback. Justin Herbert was not an Elite 11 quarterback. Patrick Mahomes. You could really look down the list and see how many guys did not go to the Elite 11 national events. So, I try to tell these young men that it doesn't really matter where you are at high school. And I think this event is critical because it gives young people a chance to be around some people that care about football, that want to see them grow, that want to see them have success, that kind of want to teach them the right way to kind of learn things and add to what the high school coaches are teaching them, and just give them a platform and a foundation to grow their love of the game.
And just lastly, Coach, just generally, what was your take on how the morning went?
I think for the first time it was great. I think the organization that you and your staff put together was amazing. All the administrative help that we had, it was a really flawless event. There was no hiccups at all. It was actually kind of beyond impressive. So thank you to everybody who contributed. I thought the kids, receivers were on time. They were attentive, did the best for the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks themselves were willing to learn, take instruction. They cared about doing things right. So I thought it was a great first day.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for all your hard work in making today a success. And we're going to be back. We're tabulating our votes, and we have one more interview, and then we're going to be back to announce our winners. Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, where is our next guest? He's coming up now. Our next guest is, we're fortunate to have our judge, Matt Sims, whose family in the New York metropolitan area certainly is football royalty. His dad, Phil, needs no introduction, former Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Giants. His brother, Chris, does a great job, played in the NFL and at the University of Texas. And we're so fortunate to have Matt. What a great career. Started out at the University of Louisville, then went to a JUCO, then ended up at the university, at the real UT,
University of Tennessee.
Your brother might have something to say on
Absolutely,
his podcast.
he will. That's why I said that. Yeah,
there you go. The
I'll
real
hear
UT
it later. Yeah.
At the University of Tennessee, and then professionally with several teams. So we're really fortunate. And I just wanted to ask you, because it's got to be a thrill growing up in an environment like that, having a dad and a brother. And just tell us a little bit about what that was like, during your formative years. I'm sure it was challenging. I'm sure they gave you a hard time at times, but overall it had to be a positive experience.
Yeah, it absolutely did. And the greatest thing that I think I had was just an environment of people that were surrounding me, that promoted me, that helped me, that always was there to embrace me through good and through bad times. And I think too as well that my father did a great job of, despite our name, actually kind of staying behind, and not really pushing me into the picture of being a football player. He let me decide what I wanted to do in my life. And I just went up to him one day. I was like, listen, I want to be a really good football player. And he goes, hey, I'm not going to help you unless you ask. And I asked a lot, and it worked out well. So I was very, very fortunate to be in an environment like that embraced me that way.
Well, I think that's a great point in terms of, some advice for parents, because sometimes I played in college, but I didn't want to push my kids. So what advice, that's a good point, if you could just expand a little bit on how critical that is, because it's about what you want to do, not what we as parents
Oh,
do.
absolutely. I think that's one of the number one things that I kind of make sure that I check that box with every parent and athlete that I work with, is just to keep in mind that it's not your dream, it has to be your son's dream. And you have to help cultivate that too, alongside with me and the other coaches in his environment too. And it's something that's kind of easier said than done, especially because you do want that success for your son, for your children. Me being a young father now, I kind of understand how that feeling is. But at the same time too, they have to want it just as much. And I wouldn't have made it to the NFL unless I wanted it that badly. And trust me, I had multiple events that most people would have been like, all right, I'm hanging it up. But I kept with it, and through thick and thin, and it worked out well for me. It gave me a ton of life lessons, and just happy now that I could pass those things forward to other athletes.
That's great. And in terms of football, what would you say some of the most valuable lessons it taught you, not just to be successful on the field, but the type of life lessons that it helped you to be a better dad, a better friend, a better son?
I think just discipline and grit, are two of the things that really kind of come to mind. Just the discipline of being able to, approach, a certain skill set that's bigger than just the individual. It's not golf, it's not tennis. You're out there with 10 other people on the field. You have to be disciplined enough to obviously earn your right to be on that field. You have to be disciplined in your approach to ask those other 10 to do something that's more demanded than maybe that they're being asked to do. And then really just the grittiness of just, accepting failures, learning from your failures, and continuing to just strive for that success. And realizing too, like we discussed in the classroom earlier, it's really more so about the journey than it is about the end result. I remember, vividly, my whole goal in high school, when I was these guys' age, was to win a state championship game. Won the state championship game, and I was so unfulfilled to some degree. And the reason why is because the chase was more important to me. It was more fun than anything. And hey, we won it. And guess what? The next day, I was out there, chasing, some more success like that on the field. And that journey with your players and your teammates is just is unmatched. Yeah.
Also, Matt had the good fortune to work with no stranger to Long Island, Jack Cohn, former Sayville quarterback, University of Wisconsin, Notre Dame, now at the Indianapolis Colts. So tell us a little bit about, I know you did some work with Jack and what kind of special person he is and the grit he's exhibited going from different places and now ultimately as a free agent, which, by the way, my opinion is I think he's got a great shot to do really well there. So tell us a little bit about that.
No doubt. And it just extremely grateful to be around the whole Cohn family, Jack, his father, his mother, just fantastic people. Just so grateful that they have trusted in me, their son's career that way. And Jack himself, been working with him now for, probably close to about 4.5 years now. And, yeah, like, listen, I'll say it right now, Boomer Esiason, like, he's the best Long Island quarterback in history. No, my father would love that line, right? He's always ragging on Boomer. But Jack is he's a phenomenal person. He is just extremely hard worker, dedicated, humble, and loves the game for all the right reasons. And it wasn't to make money or to be popular. It was because he enjoyed playing the game, he enjoyed competing. And that's really something that I think occasionally, with our culture nowadays, we kind of lose sight of, is the reason why we do things. And I think that's why he's going to be extremely successful in the pros, because he is just a true lover of the game and, enjoys perfecting his craft. Yeah.
And I had asked this question to Coach Gill a few minutes ago, but if you, and I know you work with a lot of young players.
Yes, sir.
If you were talking to the parents of a rising 7th, 8th, or 9th grader,
right,
what advice would you give them in terms of how they should approach this for their son?
I would say that, just to kind of touch upon what we just discussed prior to this, is that, it has to be something that maybe is discussed, as a family too, of, yeah, this is what your son wants to do. This is something that he needs to himself need to embrace, as far as like, this is what he's going to be chasing. It's similar to kind of going to like almost like law school or going to be a doctor. I would assume that I shouldn't assume, excuse me, but everyone's invested in, this is what the next stage of your life is going to become. And we know that you're going to be away from home and you're going to work hard and you're going to be working odd hours, and we respect that and we're going to support you to do that. And I think that's something that like most parents need to understand too. There's going to be a lot of hours out there in the field working. There's going to be a lot of hours working with different coaches and different environments and different players. And, you have to develop some thick skin to make sure that you can work through some of those things, because it's not going to be all rainbows and butterflies every day. There are going to be tough days. My father, my brother, and myself are great examples of that. We had really tough days. They didn't last, but, we as tough people did. And at the quarterback position, you have to be extremely tough and extremely gritty, and, and just enjoy the ride and the journey of it. And listen, if you're naturally gifted at it, if you work hard at it, there's going to be some things that work out well for you. Yeah.
And just lastly, we don't want you to, as you're tabulating, we don't want to give away any secrets about the results, but yeah, right. I did just want to ask you generally your impressions of the morning.
I think everyone did extremely well. I think Coach Gill did a fantastic job of just getting everybody on the same page. I know early on everyone was a little uneasy just because it's a new environment and there's a lot of other good players that are around. But it's good for the guys to see other really good quarterbacks outside of their little bubble that they're in, and to realize that the pool of quarterback out there is actually an ocean. There's a lot of good football players out there. And where you are today doesn't mean that's where you're going to be tomorrow. But yeah, a lot of great performers. Stahl, Torres, Woodhill, Trippett, Weiss, Johansson. I mean, just to name a few of those guys, they did a fantastic job today competing, and obviously, their careers have shown, why they are where they are today.
Well, listen, Matt, we really appreciate you coming out and giving us your time, and more importantly, for your expertise. Really appreciate it. Look forward to hearing the results in a few minutes.
Yeah,
okay.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Matt. You got it.
Be mad at this guy, not me.
All right, we are going to take a short break. We are continuing. The young men are finishing up eating. They're going to come back to the field. We're going to finish tabulating our results. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we're giving out a total of 4 awards, 1 for football IQ, which was work we did in the classroom. They were evaluated there because they were given extensive material to review prior to the event. And we had a series of Zoom meetings with the players so that they can familiarize themselves with the drills and material. Then we're going to give out an award for accuracy, 1 for anticipation, and then crown an overall Long Island Quarterback Challenge Skills Champion for 2022. So we're going to go back upstairs and take a short break. See everyone in a few minutes. Thank you.
Experience, trusted, proven, excellence. Over 20 years of professional sports video production, the industry standard, T&D Sports Video Production. Whether it's a single game, a whole season, or a college recruitment video, T&D Sports is your one-stop video solution. T&D Sports Video Productions. All sports, all levels, all the time.
Jump shot, leave your knee shot? We've got specialists for that. Face down after that face off? We've got specialists for that. Half pipe, leave you full of pain? We've got specialists for that. Orland & Cohen's top orthopedic team has specialized expertise and extensive training from the nation's premier programs in sports medicine, knee, shoulder, hip, spine, hand, foot, and ankle, so you can feel better faster.
Experience. Trusted. Proven. Excellence. Over 20 years of professional sports video production. The industry standard. T&D Sports Video Production. Whether it's a single game, a whole season, or a college recruitment video, T&D Sports is your one-stop video solution. T&D Sports Video Productions. All sports, all levels, all the time.
Good morning. My name is Len Genova. I'm the president of the James C. Metzger Suffolk County chapter of the National Football Foundation. The foundation itself was created in 1947 and is dedicated to promoting amateur football and to honoring those individuals who serve the game, whether they be players, coaches, administrators, or referees. Our chapter here in Suffolk County has been in existence since 1995, and every year at our Scholar Athlete Brunch, we recognize one scholar athlete from each of the schools, both public, Catholic, and private, that play football in Suffolk County, provided they meet our minimum criteria. Now, from that group, we pick our top 11, which we refer to as our Golden 11. And they truly represent academic and athletic excellence and represent all that's right about scholastic sports. Now, from that group, we actually pick one top scholar. And through the years, we've had some amazing young people who have achieved tremendous things in their community, on the gridiron, and certainly in the classroom. So it's a very proud moment for me to be here this morning to welcome everyone and to congratulate all our scholar athletes for all the great work they've done throughout their entire careers. And a special congratulations to their parents who have invested so much time and effort into making them the successful, good people that they are. So welcome, everyone.
In 2019, the executive board of the foundation decided to rename the chapter in recognition of one of Long Island's most philanthropic supporters of youth and high school athletics, James C. Metzger.
Proud to be with you here this morning and welcome you to our annual Scholar Athlete Brunch for the James C. Metzger Suffolk County chapter of the National Football Foundation. And I have none other than our namesake, James Metzger, with me this morning. So, Jim, the first question I have for you is, what does it mean to you to have our Top Scholar Athlete Award named in recognition of your late dad, Conrad, who unfortunately passed away recently?
Yeah, it's hard to put it into words. I don't want to get choked up when Len just within the last day or two told me that, and I saw the program. It's probably the most special award I've ever been associated with, and I've been involved in athletics for 50 years. So my dad was my best friend, and he's looking down from heaven. I know he's a humble man, and he's saying he's enjoying, probably saying he doesn't deserve it immensely, and I literally couldn't be happier about that.
Well, I know how proud he must have been of you and what you accomplished in your lifetime, both on the athletic field and certainly in the business world. But I did want to ask you, how big of a part did football play in your life growing up? I know we've had a lot of conversations, but I'd love for you to share that with the people that are involved in the chapter.
A lot. Football, one of my all-time favorite coaches, Vince Lombardi. Maybe I borrowed from him a little bit when I said everything I needed to know in business I learned on the sports field.
You know, Jim, I know when I first met you, and I'm going to reference that in my remarks this morning, it was just how passionate you were in terms of talking about your career playing high school football and how vividly some of those memories still stick with you and how important they are to you, quite frankly.
Yeah, they don't fade away. Unfortunately, some of the what I call failures or the tough spots along the way, I remember those most, I think. But by and large, yes, I can remember almost every game I played, 3 years of varsity, and most of them were good. But it gave me it was the foundation upon which I built both my personal and professional life.
The chapter is also supported by local businesses and is fortunate to count on the Orland & Cohen Sports Medicine Practice as a naming rights sponsor for the prestigious Player of the Week team.
Orland & Cohen is a Long Island's leading and largest private orthopedic and sports medicine group. They're committed to not only providing excellent service, giving great access to athletes, but doing philanthropic things like supporting the National Football Foundation and other organizations that do good things as well. These organizations and being involved with the foundation for all these years, we need support. And we can't give out awards like this and provide a brunch like this free to the athletes without the support of organizations. And so Orland & Cohen is a major sponsor of this event for that reason.
The 2022 event was an enormous success with over 300 people in attendance and also recognized National Football Foundation Coach of the Year, Robin Rosa from Walt Whitman High School. Whitman won the 2021 Suffolk County Championship and received the Rutgers Trophy, the school's first since 1974.
But one of the things I've learned a long, long time ago is that when you win a Coach of the Year award, you win it because the coaches you coach with and the great players you get to coach. Also proves that I've just been around a long time. Eventually I would get it right.
In addition, the 2021 James Dooley Contribution to Amateur Football Award was presented to well-respected orthopedic surgeon and former National Football Foundation scholar athlete, Dr. James Pacey.
Listen, it's an honor and a privilege to be here with all of you today. To be able to continue to be involved in high school athletics, which has meant so much to me and my family over the years, is really a tremendous thing.
Our 2022 Scholar Athlete Brunch featured some outstanding young men who achieved athletic and academic excellence. Please meet several of them and hear firsthand just what the great sport of football has taught them.
I think it's got to be companionship, like with my teammates, especially at Sable. We build such a brotherhood, and those skills that I've built with my teammates, it's gonna help me throughout life with like working with other people.
Football's taught me a lot of things about life, but most importantly, it's taught me the importance of working hard to achieve a goal and how to work together as a team to achieve that goal.
One of the missions of the National Football Foundation is to build leaders through football. Through our continued hard work and success, we will have opportunities to have positive impacts in our communities and for those around us.
Football has taught me how to overcome adversity. Being scored on as a defensive player and a defensive leader on the team. When we got scored on, a lot of guys would look to me to really, keep my head up and make sure that we're, still staying focused and still, achieving our goal of, turning the ball over and getting the ball back to the offense. And it's easy to become defeated. However, football has really taught me how to keep my head on straight and just how to stay focused, keep my head on the goal, and really just focus on keeping the team and our morale high.
I think that football has taught me to just stay hard, working hard and be dedicated in everything that I do. Obviously, to be successful in football, you have to work really hard and go above and beyond at whatever.
The audience today Welcome everyone here for our first ever National Football Foundation Long Island Quarterback Challenge. And what I said on the live stream was the foundation is all about honoring scholar athletes and also promoting this great game of high school football. And I think here on Long Island, events like this really need to happen so we can promote these great players, because I don't know that they always get enough attention. So we had a series of events and competitions, which obviously all of you saw, and we're giving out 3 individual awards. One for accuracy, one for anticipation, and one for football IQ. That portion took place inside in the classroom. So our first award is for accuracy. So Peter, why don't you come up? And our 2022 Long Island Quarterback Challenge accuracy winner from Smithtown West High School, Braden Stoll. All right, congratulations, Braden. Good job. I'd shake your hand, but I have 2 microphones going here. Our next award is for anticipation. Our 2022 Long Island Quarterback Challenge winner for anticipation from St. Anthony's High School, Dante Torres. Okay, and this was probably my favorite because I really appreciate the football part of the game in terms of the young players' IQs. And just to give everyone a sense, Coach Gill, who ran the event for us, sent these young men some detailed information that they had an opportunity to review and go over, along with having a series of Zoom calls that we had in preparation for today. So it was really a fun opportunity to get to see, for me to get to see some of these young men, see how much they knew actually in the classroom and display that knowledge. So our 2022 Long Island Quarterback Challenge IQ winner is from Comac High School, Jeremy Weiss. All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Now we got the big award here. And again, this was not necessarily about one winner. It's about all of these young men showcasing their ability and showing that Long Island high school football and playing quarterback is important, and they're great athletes. So hopefully you follow them during the course of the year. I hope all of them had an opportunity, if they didn't know one another, to build some relationships and follow each other. And also I want to thank all of their receivers who came today, guys. You were on time. Everyone committed who said they were going to be here. You were here, and we really appreciate you making this event a success. We couldn't have done it without you. Nice round of applause for our receivers. Thank you, guys. So after we announce our winner, I'm going to ask Greg Sarah from Newsday to come up at that point so he can interview our overall champion. So without further ado, our 2022 Long Island Quarterback Challenge for the National Football Foundation from Comac High School, Jeremy Weiss. Yeah. All right, congratulations. All right, Mr. Sarah, your turn. You have to be a little adept. You have to hold both microphones for our live stream and so everyone can hear. So he's very athletic. Here you go. All right, Greg. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Outstanding job in the first annual quarterback challenge for Jeremy Weiss from Comac. And I want to ask you a question. We were in a classroom earlier today, and Coach Gill picked you out of the class a couple times to ask a few questions, and you were well prepared. Obviously, you're a smart student, 4.0 grade point average. You have a big future in front of you. Were you nervous coming into the event with all the great names that you saw on the list who were selected to be here?
I can't say that I wasn't nervous because, honestly, I think being nervous is a good thing. It means you're prepared and excited. But I definitely did my preparation and made sure I was ready for this moment when it came about.
It was impressive to listen to all the guys. I thought did a fantastic job on the IQ inside the classroom with Coach Gill, answering all the questions. But was your adrenaline pumping in the classroom before you came out here? Because you had a great day today in every event.
I just had to make sure that I was ready, honestly. I think adrenaline was pumping the entire time, and I was just super excited about everything that we were doing today.
was a fantastic event, Jeremy. Congratulations being the first winner of the Long Island Quarterback Challenge. Have a great season. To all the competitors, hope they all have a great season. Stay healthy and lead their teams to victories. Good job, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Congratulations to our winners. Good luck to everyone this season. We wish you all the best.